Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. North American stock futures back in positive territory this morning, coming off the negativity that we saw yesterday. Heavy selling pressure, mainly in the afternoon as we headed into the close. Very, very weak close yesterday, but things trying to bounce back today. The selling was led by some of these reopened trade type ideas. The travel names, hotels, airlines, cruise lines, all significantly to the downside at the end of the day yesterday, where we saw some of the stay-at-home type ideas, Zoom, Peloton, both higher at the end of the session. Some of the big-name tech shares getting sold off late in the day yesterday as well. Resurgent COVID-19 cases throughout Europe and many parts of the world back to the forefront once again this morning. Concerns over slow rollout of vaccines continues to weigh on sentiment as well. Meanwhile, Fed Chair Jerome Powell and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen continuing their two-day testimony today in front of a House Committee on Financial Services. The 10-year today back to 1622. Back to those areas that it broke out from going back a week or so ago. We're watching GameStop this morning down sharply after earnings. We'll talk about that. And all these NFT stocks, so many to talk about now, very active in the pre-market as well. Some deal making in that group this morning. It's Wednesday, March 24th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Look at North American markets. Yeah, positivity returning here. 0.6%, now for the NASDAQ, back to the upside. The S&P and the Dow also in positive territory. You can see everything else nicely higher. Bitcoin, yeah, 4.5% already for Bitcoin, back in positive territory. Crude oil up 2.5% again. We'll talk about why. I just read an interesting story on that cargo ship. Gold also a little bit positive here to kick things off, heading into the Wednesday trading session. Good morning, guys. It is Wednesday, going to be an exciting one once again this morning. Yeah, we had that cargo ship that was stuck across the Suez Canal, the main access into the Mediterranean. Looks like it has been moved or is in the process of being straightened out and moved once again. So there was as many as I read 5 or 6 oil tankers stuck behind that ship. So I guess everything's going to start moving once again, which is great.
A little bottleneck action. I mean, I guess if that's the catalyst to get a bit of a rebound in energy, who knows if there's going to be fall through. But it's always important to grind down to the nuts and bolts of that story. I mean, if you had told me, a year ago or a couple of years ago that everyone would be waiting around and excited for GameStop earnings, and that would be what everyone is looking towards. Essentially for the entire quarter, well, it seems like the quarter, but I guess the last month and a half or so. And then you'd see GameStop moving like 13%, and that wouldn't even be the biggest thing on day traders' minds today. I don't even know what to say, because these NFT plays are 100% taking things over. So it's going to be another action sort of packed day involved in that space, especially with Hall of Fame entertainment there. And Dolphin with that deal, 73% here on HOFV, and Dolphin was up. I mean, it was up over 100%. It's actually given back some now, like 61% to the upside. And that follows the massive moves that they've already put in yesterday's action. So as much as it's even possible for GameStop to be like a secondary story when it comes to the crazy movers, that's kind of what we're facing here today. So strap in, buckle up, do all those things. It's all about having a plan of action when there are a lot of symbols to look at. I do find myself in a couple of positions already. One I love, one we'll see how that one goes at CSCW. One on the watch list. I'll talk about ALYA dual listed, but didn't make our watch list, but we'll get into that one a little bit later. Sean, I mean, it's there's even some fundamental names that we can talk about here, because I think that Intel news is fantastic for a lot of names. Intel, of course, specifically, but then a couple of other secondary names. We'll talk to Mark Roberts about that as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll talk to Mark Roberts about it. We'll see what he's saying. Yeah, like all this Dolph, all this NFT crap. I mean, if you guys are buying these now and trying to hold them for a long term, we'll talk about that in a week. or so. But for a day trade, I mean, yeah, they should be good. DLPN, we'll look at that, a few different names. I put on the sticky note SPRT. We'll look at that today as well. I think this has an opportunity to break through this 650 level. We'll watch that, and we'll just continue to play some of these momentum names. I already sent out the sticky notes. You can find that on Twitter. You can find out a poll on Twitter already. 500 people responded to the poll I put up an hour ago. So if you guys want to check that out, I'm sure Valeria can put that up. And our main account at TraderTV.live, I think, has a poll today or so. I'm not sure. That should be up as well. But yeah, look, it's going to be a big day. There's lots of stuff happening. I mean, every day there's something happening. So, regardless of if it looks slow or not, we'll find those winners for you. And if they're not winners, there'll at least be opportunities. You can go long if I go short, and then we'll flip a coin and see who wins, Brendan.
All right. Yeah, lots of stuff happening. Always lots of stuff happening. It's just a matter of finding those things that are moving, and that's what we are here for. We're going to get into the top 10 traders list, but before we do that, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Miss B.
Good morning, Brendan, and hey guys, welcome back everyone. Let's have another great trading day together. Please be active and respectful on the chat, destroy the like button, and let's get it started.
Let's get it started, guys. Yeah, for sure. Let's jump into the top 10 trader list from here at Day Trade the World yesterday. And I bring this up because, Canadian content at the top of the list today, guys. TSX Venture and the CSE coming in at number 1 yesterday. 48,000. NASDAQ all by its lonesome there. 46,000, number 2. Big mix of markets here, number 3, 32,000. We do this just to simply highlight the opportunities across a wide range of markets, guys. So top 10 list for traders here at Day Trade the World yesterday. Still lots of opportunity, as we mentioned. It's a matter of narrowing down what you're looking for and trying to come up with things to put into play every single day. Let's talk about some of these NFT trades, because this has just been it's almost taken the place of meme stocks. I mean, I saw yesterday a lot of people talking online about how these are the new meme stocks, if you will. But I mean, so many of them to choose from, and big moves, to say the least, along with the volume to back it up, guys.
In the regards that you're seeing, I guess with not as many parabolic moves in other places, yeah, you're probably right about that. Sort of replacing them in terms of the momentum, the places you can find something that's going to give you that, these crazy 20, 50, 100% types of returns. But, like we always say, and again, I'll come back to like TKAT here just because that's one's coming off for a second day in a row. Guys, this thing got as high as 75. And, a couple of sessions ago, we were looking at this thing at $5. And as fast as they can come up, believe me, they can go back to the downside even more rapidly. But you don't have to. But I always feel like you should at least, if you're going to be a short seller, wait for the sign of weakness before jumping in front of freight trains like this, guys. And I think that's one of those things that's worth considering. Trade within your risk tolerance. If you get long one of these puppies, we always talk about you can't go broke taking profit. So when you get a catalyst, especially in the later stages, and I guess for some of these moves 3 or 4 days, it might not be considered that later stage, but a lot of times you're seeing with TKAT, it's exactly that 3 or 4 days where you get the first big turnaround, and you maybe start thinking about pairing some off, going the other direction. And I'm looking at DLPN here as one that's showing a few cracks, certainly to the downside. And TKAT was one that I stayed away from. It's one that I'll be looking at in today's action as well. DLPN the volume is so good on all of these that it's hard for a day trader to get away from it. DLPN's done now 3 million shares, and TKAT, as much as it's coming in, 150,000. So the sales have come out of that one, but there's still a lot of interest, especially because that Hall of Fame resorts deal with the Dolphin and them. So lots of volume there. That's where you jump to if you're day trading. It is really all about that volume and liquidity, and then taking advantage of the trend. But if you're holding these for the long term, in my opinion, I think you're already out of some of these. That's what would make sense to me. But to each their own.
Yeah, exactly. I gave that take a couple minutes ago as well. I mean, I don't want to be in any of these names for the long term, so we'll be short. And you don't have to trade all of these. Like Neil wasn't really too super active yesterday in these names, and I wasn't. And today we'll see, if it comes through. We had that YVR, this Dolphin. More importantly though, if you want to trade real stocks, you can go over to Intel, have a look there. We'll see up 3.7%. And it's not about trading real stocks versus fake stocks. I mean, it's just NFT. Like Neil said, you're going to have to be there for the day trade, and I think it's going to be fantastic. The one thing to understand is too, when Brendan shows those top lists, most of the money is made on these crazy stocks. So like when you're talking about traders making 10 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand in a day, they're not, at least here at Day Trade the World, they're not making them on the Intels of the world, okay, guys? They're making them on these NFT stocks. So there's tons and tons of opportunities in all of these stocks. And I think they're absolutely great day trade stocks, but, we get this question, and we had this question before, Brendan, on our Q&A about, how do you build a small account? And I think you got to look at these names. I know a lot of you are building small accounts. So I'm going to be here. I tweeted out some levels on SPRT. I like Dolphin through 28 or 29. 28 it is. But, those are some smaller trades. If you like that and you're just trying to throw around some cash, just be careful. Make sure you have stops. But don't have stop. Like, you can't trade DLPN with even like a dollar stop. Like, you got to have bigger stops. And those of us that trade here know that you can't just hold on to something forever, but at the same time, you got to give these things a little bit of room. So let's just wait to see what happens on those stocks. I wrote down Intel 6650. We'll see if it can get going. Obviously, good news yesterday. They're going to put $20 billion here, 6625, yesterday's high. And I just think we can get above. I could pick 6630 there as the high to break through today. But right now, Intel up that 3 and a bit percent. We'll see. This is a level that you can smash. 66 and change, they're reinvesting $30 billion or $20 billion. We're going to get to all of this. The main point here is, guys, look at our board, look at the watch list. That's what we're going to be going over very shortly. Listen to some of the rhetoric that we're spitting at you. Listen to other people, but ultimately you got to trade your own book. And I have a whole bunch of names on my sticky note. I just added QS through 58, and I added Apple through 124. So if you want to look at some names other than some of these NFT names, although the NFT names are on my list, check out the sticky note and check out our watch list, which we're going to go over right now.
Yeah, positive definitely for Intel, but not so much. I was noticing, guys, the rest of that group, or most of the rest of that group, AMD, downside this morning on that news as well. So yeah, we'll get into the chip makers coming up here. Let's bring in Mark Roberts, president of Sun Lake Strategies, get his take on what to expect for Wednesday. Good morning, Mark. Let's start a little bit higher here, a little macro look to kick things off. The talk yesterday was all about, these COVID cases coming back into play over in Europe. We're seeing, more and more shutdowns again over in Europe. Some lingering concerns on that front. Are we through this yet as far as what to expect going forward?
The answer is you're in the middle of the baseball game. You have a situation where there was the initial rush in the U.S., I'm not sure about Canada, but in the U.S. to get the vaccine. They brought more vaccines on stream. Local officials are still battling, trying to get the public to take them. We're going to go through a period which is going to be very confusing for traders and news items, where we have too much supply and not enough people taking the vaccine. So now the next level, if I can jump ahead, is going to be educating those thousands and thousands of non-vaccine users to take the vaccine, so we push herd immunity into a faster track.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of back and forth price action over the past couple of sessions here with, the travel group. We said that the airlines, the cruise lines, some of the hotels very negative yesterday. But the entire group, it seems, very positive going into this morning.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is unwinding positions. The Russell has been under attack, Russell 1,000, 2,000. The dollar's been stronger, rates stabilized a bit, but it's really an excuse to take profits. Will the FANG stocks come back strong? My guess is the Amazons of the world will come back really aggressively in the next 30 days, but it's a wait and see. Cyclicals should have a little bit of back and forth in here, but anything related to herd immunity, safety to travel, it's going to be slow, but it's going to be steady.
All right, let's shift over to the energy markets. 2.5% bump here to start things off for oil this morning. Some of the energy stocks following suit as well. We were just mentioning that that ship that was blocking the Suez Canal has been righted apparently and is now in the process of being moved, but a long backlog of cargo ships, including oil tankers, to get through. I mean, is that the positivity coming into the energy markets here, or what do you look to for this rally today?
I would say the answer is yes. Again, energy stocks were the leaders, mostly in the first quarter, along with financials. They've started to back off. That's great for traders. The one group that I'm really looking at are the refiners in the next, I'd say 5 to 10 days. I think those are going to be home runs like Valero and the rest. They'll pull back another 5 to 15%. And then they're the home runs for me.
So, Mark, just quickly here, because I think everyone's, a lot of people have been talking about the Intel news. I'm glad to have you on here, and I think I even said I wanted to make sure we got your thoughts on some of the names here. And of course, it's ramping up production, and the foundry play is certainly, I'm not saying long overdue, but I think it's a good move for Intel, and you're seeing the positivity coming off of that. But what might this mean for some related names in the space? Like specifically, Sean mentioned AMD is down a little bit today. So what does it mean for competition? And then maybe something like a Lam is a related name in the space. Like is it a time to start thinking about picking one of those up as a sort of related, maybe a secondary type play to just Intel, or sort of playing within the big names?
The answer is yes, yes, and yes. Competition is bad, so AMD will suffer. Intel news is great, and Lam Research is high on my list. So you pick the 1, 2, or 3 in the group that should react strongly.
Yeah, and I know Lam LRCX is a little bit of it can be a little bit more of an expensive name, but I think with fractional investing, I think for a lot of traders, it's certainly one thing that you should look at. And we try to talk about some names within the space that you're not as familiar with. And again, the chart here it's sort of a bit of a nice looking one, whether you want to buy on dips here or just actually pick some up at around this like 550. Very, very similar to the steady growth that you're seeing overall in some of the tech names. But you cannot sleep on some of those names. I do want to come back to something like an Oxy in the energy space, though, because I'm looking at it here, it just feels to me like if you haven't nibbled in this in a while, and I call myself guilty, whatever, the canal's sort of freeing up there. I'm not sure whether that's going to be the biggest catalyst. I kind of felt like maybe we're looking for that bounce anyways off of this 26 and pulling back into this cluster, specifically 25, 26. As for timing goes, it feels like a buy to me today. I was looking at, for a day trade, like a 2750 break, but how much patience are we talking here with some of these energy names? And Oxy specifically for the day trade looks pretty good if we can make a breakout through 2750. But on the longer time frame, how much patience are you saying? Are you waiting? Would you ever wait all the way back into 25 for that cluster?
I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe you get a pullback. Just slightly under 26, but that's pushing it. Oxy's high on my list. EOG, APA, Devon Energy, and Hess, HES. Those are the names I go to. I've been in all of them, and I'm looking for re-entry.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, Hess, that's another good name. So I'm sort of with you there. I like that 2750 number on Occidental, particularly today. If I can get your maybe just like your last thoughts overall in some of the, I guess we'll call it stay-at-home names. Whatever the names can put them. We saw Intel, not Intel. We saw Netflix with a big move. I'm just sort of slowly bringing up Zoom here, which has been under a little bit of weakness. My first take when I saw them start to run was, do we really think this is going to extend too far? I was a little bit tepid on them. Like I much prefer buying weakness in some of the cyclical names, which I think have given you some good opportunities. But what's your take on this sort of? Because it looks pretty muted rally here in something like a Zoom, and it's really not done a heck of a lot off of the bottom here for as much excitement as there was. What's your take sort of specifically on like this name as opposed to like a Netflix, which I think has a little more going for it?
I think you have to be a little careful. This is where your chart prowess comes in, because a Peloton is a better chart than a Zoom. If you go right down the list, you'll find those patterns that look better. Personally, I've been looking at Lululemon. I think they have an interesting take. I'm watching that space. And the answer is it's going to go back and forth, because these shutdowns in Europe seem to be part of the near term. And I don't think we'll see it quite here, but Europe is going to continue to have its problem.
Yes, and I think as you mentioned there, like looking to the charts, you see something like a Lululemon, and I'm sure that's what appeals to you. Is it's actually giving you a cluster for a bit of a break, a potential breakout right here, right now. Whereas as we're contrasting in that Zoom chart, still looking at least a little bit overall weaker on that side, and I think probably a little bit more going for them with Lulu. As always, Mr. Stockfather. It's good to chat with you. You gave me some extra confidence with that look over in particularly in Occidental, at least for me. So I'll be very happy to see how that one works out for both of us there if we can get back into it. Once again, best of luck for the rest of the day, and thanks, Mark.
And don't forget Walmart with those $1,400 stimulus checks.
Yes. Hey,
yesterday.
Well, remember, like I was feeling bad about buying Walmart when there were much better opportunities than Target, but it's looking a heck of a lot better now, a week and a half later. So good look there.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let's go into upgrades and downgrades. We'll have a look at anything significant on here. I mean, Estee Lauder, Wells Fargo liking Estee Lauder, Everest down here as well. It's worth noting there was multiple analysts coming out with moves on GameStop today, some higher, some lower. Telsey advisory to the downside. Price target of $30 on GameStop, guys, after earnings.
If you guys remember yesterday, just as we finished the show, shout out to Mark Roberts, Sun Lake Strategies, check him out. But yeah, I hit this Walmart. You guys remember that, 11:05. We had this 132.50 break, and then it closed at 134.25. So those of you that remember yesterday, I had that Walmart trade. Someone put in the chat Costco and everything, and yeah, that was right. I mean, I remember it. It was a perfect trade, 132.50. Upside, and then just kept on going, and we actually got some out. I think I tweeted it out yesterday, actually, at the end when we finished off the trade, and I think it wasn't right into the close. I'm pretty sure I got out like right around this 134 area the last little bit, as it just kept on bumping up and away, and now Walmart continues to make moves today up to 134.50 and possibly taking out more levels here. Here's the Walmart on the 20-minute chart. We are getting up to these highs here of basically 135. I mean, watch out for that to get taken out. And then on a daily chart also, Walmart looking pretty sweet. This is not on our oops, where is my daily chart? It's not on our list today. Where are you? There it is. But you can see it is breaking out. Walmart's a fantastic long. My first long on Walmart ever wasn't even too long ago. It was at $100, and I didn't get any out. So, you know, I'm still long this name. I like the name, and I think it can continue to work, man. That is Walmart. If you're starting an account, I'm adding Walmart now, right now, to my list. So if you are starting an account, Walmart is not a bad long-term play for those of you looking at that. And I'm glad that, and that's why you see me hit the bull when Mark talked about that. I've been talking about AMD for a while now. So I mean, I still like AMD. It's pulled back a little bit. I like it into that 75 area.
All right. AMD making moves in the pre-market here as well. Let's jump into what is moving around in the pre-market. Guys, if you haven't yet, make sure you sign up for the absolutely free to you watch list every morning. All you have to do is register an email account. You can sign up with Facebook, Gmail, whatever you like, and you have access to our morning note that comes out every morning before we come on at 8:30 in the morning. We are working on an archive as well. I know a lot of people have been asking for a way to view older versions or older editions of the note, 2 days, 3 days. So we are working on an archive as well. The first one we will jump into, guys, Intel. Yeah, they came out aftermarket yesterday saying they're going to spend $20 billion on 2 factories to produce their own chips in the U.S. So that was positive for Intel. But as we said, some of the other ones in the group moving downside on that. Yeah, and we were talking about that with Mark, and I think just to show you guys LAM here, LRCX,
you're going to see the gap up on news like this. And of course, if they're going to ramp up production, I think you're going to look at some of the suppliers, and they're going to be, especially the materials, they're going to be secondary plays to be had. The other end of that spectrum, and Sean mentioned AMD, but whether you want to go from that or you can go to like a Micron, which is hanging right around some of those lows. I think there's going to be a bit of an opportunity to buy the dip in some of these names. I mean, I stare at Micron in the face just because that was the last one that's actually not true because I bought some AMD, but Micron was the last sort of big investment I made in the 60 range here. And I said the other day that there could be a pullback actionable around this 85 area, or 85, 86 area, and today just sort of could be the days we're rounding in front of that level here today. There's no getting away from the chip names. And as far as Intel goes specifically, did you just get into it, Sean? Oh no, Spirit, never mind.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you've made this mistake before, Neil. It's support, not Spirit. So
I cannot call. Look, it's I have to.
That's just what it is. That's all. Yeah, I mean it's SRT Spirit there for the Boeing. But okay, so here we go, guys. Breaking through 650. Put our money where our mouth is right now. We take that long. It's on the watch list, and here we go. So SPRT. We talked about that earlier. I talked about NFT names that I wanted to go long here. Let's see if we can get a piece out. We're long right at 55. I am offering here at 66. We'll see if that wants to work. I mean, look, I don't love these names. I've talked about them over and over again, but SPRT, we are now into that one. And I'm going to use this 590 here, sort of where I guess we started going yesterday around these levels, but the volume is so shitty on this stock. Okay, 577 right now. I mean, the volume is pretty good today, 327. It's not huge. Would rather this be in the millions, but there's the break. It does go as high as 70 there. We are sitting on the offer. My first position will be out like where I said in the 60s. And then I want to look to see yesterday's move, right? Like once it broke this 7, it never came back. So there still is a lot of risk to this trade, guys. And I don't want to hold it all the way to yesterday's bottom because I feel like if that gets taken out, then I mean, I just don't want to have this $1.20 or 30 hit on this name. So I'm just trading it just for some momentum. Let's see if it gets taken out here. I'm going to put another offer. So first right now in the 60s, next offer at 7, and then we'll see. As far as Intel is concerned, I already used that 66.50 there as the high. This is similar levels that Neil was talking about. I wrote it down on the sticky note. You guys can check that out. 66.50 for Intel. But for right now, my eyes are going to be peeled to this one. SPRT here. Support Calm Incorporated. We'll wait to see if it gets going. I think there's a chance, so we'll see. We'll take off a little piece here for a dime, and then we'll wait to see. There it is. Nope, we're not out yet. We're sitting there. Okay.
There you go.
There we go. So we just take out 66 there. A nice little out right there on EdgeX. Now we'll wait to see where we go from the higher side now up to $7 we're hoping for. Let's start to stay off, man, with some chicken dinner winners. But right now, it's a small chicken dinner. We have like one wing right now on the plate.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with wings, man.
No, there is nothing wrong with wings at all. We're going to try to put the whole damn bird on the plate later on, but it could fall down. I think it's just worth a shot.
I want to come back just for a quick second because I didn't actually show the chart of Intel. The only difference I have, because the level I've written down, and I'm going long at a 66.40, and I'm just going to the beginning of the week. That's the intraday high. We've traded higher than that in the pre-market, so this is more of a level for like 9:30 to 4 o'clock. Sometimes those levels matter a bit more, and that's the break that I like particularly on Intel. It's splitting hairs because a lot of times we'll round up and then go with those quarters and those 50s, but also in a couple of positions here, and I want to get to this ALYA before it gets too far away from me here. Apologies for this. After 8 o'clock, you do see some of these dark pool prints. I would never hold a 375, 380 area short all the way up to like a 460 against me. That's absolutely ludicrous. So it never traded above there. It actually held 390. It held $4 definitely off of this little cluster here. This is a Canadian company, dual listed. It does trade in Toronto. They got a deal, $600 million contract, I believe it was, with a Quebec company, and they're in the digital space. And again, it was just one of those, it shows me the weakness, and when there's a cluster that rolls over, I take all the consolidations short. This one almost to my targets here, down at around $3 where you had the initial pushes at 7 o'clock, and then down to like a 265. So You saw live when we were on the show, when the show started off, that I was already in position in this name, and also CSCW, which is on CSCW, which is also on our watch list as well. Follow along. I'm short. That one's running in the money as well. We'll get to those in a bit.
Let's have a look at the overall market. We'll bring in Arun, take a look at the futures, understand a little bit of where we are, why we're there, Arun, and what we need to know heading into a Wednesday.
Yeah, where are we? We're pretty much where we started yesterday, about where we started yesterday. There's not a whole lot going on in this market at this time. You know, we've gone quiet. We're starting to range. We've been ranging in different various levels, but we are ranging for over a week now. So when a market like this happens, you have to kind of clearly define your tops, your bottoms, and you have to be aware that you have to kind of slow down your trading. Some trades take a lot longer. Some trade, it's not going to be instant gratification for everyone who's used to it. So you just be prepared that you do have different strategies. So the levels I've got have been in play for a while now. 39.45 is the top end of that range that I've marked off. Anything above 20 going into 45, I would like to fade if I can get a proper setup. And anything down below 3,900 going down to 38.75, I'd like to find longs in. Now, given how slow the market is, you do have to be aware that sometimes the market will go into the range, kind of chop around a little bit, and you just need to find some form, whatever your identification is, some form of a setup that you'd be confident with to take that risk. Otherwise, it's not worth it. So I would just be patient. And when the market goes this slow, you have to slow down as well. So, you know, some trades take hours to develop. So just be prepared that you have various strategies for different markets. And this is one of the, I guess, points that you would learn as a trader when it ranges and when it trends. And right now we're in a ranging market. So just be aware that things might be a little bit slower, but also keep in mind, we have some news coming out. We have day 2 of the federal chairman testifying in front of Congress. We have the ECB president also delivering a speech today and tomorrow. And we also have the Bank of Japan with the speech as well. So there's a lot happening in 24 hours that could potentially get us out of this range. But until it does, we are stuck in a range.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. We'll check back again tomorrow morning as we head towards the open. Miss V has something special at the TV.
Hey guys, I want to show you something fun, but first of all, one more time, I want to tell to our community how much we love you, respect you, and thankful for everything you do to us. Here is Russell Jackson watching Trader TV live show and modeling in our merch. Russell, we really love you and can't wait for you to visit Canada and the studio. Well guys, if you want to be as cool as Russell, post your pictures in our merch on Twitter, and we also with love will retweet you and show on the show. If you don't know where to buy our merch, just message me on the chat and I'll help you with pleasure. Back to Brandon.
Yes, Miss V has all the answers for you on the chat. Whatever you would like to know, ask her. She'll help you out. Let's get back into the watch list, guys. GameStop, if you haven't heard, reported aftermarket yesterday. Yeah, it wasn't good. I mean, it was a loss, but to be expected for GME. It was more about the offering that they failed to talk about on the conference call, guys, and a lack of comments regarding the restructuring, how it's going, what direction they're going to head in. We've spoken in the past about their plans to convert into an e-commerce business, bringing over, former Chewy founder. So there was a lack of direction, a lack of comments that people were looking at there, I think.
Yeah, you got to give some details in there. Speaking of details, Russell, I want to know the story behind the giraffe in the back there. I saw it, so I'm sure there's a good one for that oversized stuffed animal, or stuffy as my daughter calls them. If you're not going to give detail, no guidance, no idea what's going on here in terms of how much, in terms of how big, I guess, that offering is going to be and how it's going to look. And ultimately, I think that's what everybody wanted them to raise in this way. And it makes a lot of logical sense given what's happened to the stock price. But in the midst of that lack of detail, that's why you're seeing a little bit of a sell-off in today. And I don't know that levels are going to matter too much. I do have one thing that for sure is going to be on my radar, because we try to be as honest as possible at this. And I had this conversation with one of our floor managers on the floor here, Greg, yesterday, that GameStop off of the open in yesterday's action gave a couple of ugly breakouts where essentially I was able to sort of get away by getting in and out of them rather quick. So there were failed breaks to the upside. What it ended up doing, though, was distracting me from Upstart, which is what I came in here. We were talking about the NFT plays yesterday, and I was like, I went from that TKT to say, let's talk about Upstart, because I think that's going to be a short, and then didn't have it off the open because I was trading GameStop and had some small caps. So I find that it can be a bit of a distraction at times. So I like to wait for halts, for real parabolic moves to happen in GameStop today. I think it's going to be no different for me. Does it have the chance to get any squeeze action? Of course, there's always a potential for those big time upside squeezes, but it's going to be hard to ignore that 150 if that can't hold, especially on this weakness here. And if it does press, I do look into those bottoms from yesterday at a 175 to 180, especially looking at that aftermarket action if we can get up into that range for a bit of a fade style play. For now, I'm going to come to you in just a quick second because I want to go back to the CSCW. It's going to be one of those days in the pre-market where everything is sort of honky-dory and we're flushing some of these down the toilet. So fading into this one in front of that, if I miss this move on a rollover, I like to see the weakness in this particular play. Once it already makes a breakdown through 170 and I don't catch that move, I'm always looking to retrace into this price. Started a little bit too early with small shares there, but actually found my way into a 163 average price short. You'll see it says 164 now, but that's because I've taken a bunch of shares out and my last ins were up here at 164. If it does break 145, I'll hang on to probably a quarter of the position, a third at the absolute most, looking for that bigger retracement. Yesterday's close at 116. I think 125, yesterday's high, is a reasonable target for the last of my shares, but a couple of nice shorts already on for me here today. Try not to get distracted by GameStop.
Shakib, what up? 820 here, SOS. You brought this to our attention, and yeah, what a big move. That just had SOS right now, $9, so $7 up to that 820. I'm going to take this. 820 was a stopper there back on the 19th, and then basically we saw 810, 811, something like that, a couple days before. And then even right here, we had some stop and goes at like 825, 850. So I think if we could take out the day's high right now, we'll see what's going to happen with SOS, of course, Bitcoin related. And yeah, the Bitcoin march just continues, guys. I'm long Cardano, waiting for that thing to drop down to $1 to just buy a hell of a lot more. And then here's Bitcoin on the 1 minute chart. We started to go. I'll just see if I can zoom this out a little bit here. This is pretty positive, man. Pretty positive order flow and action on Bitcoin. And since we broke that 54,000, we ripped up. We didn't even look at 55,000. It dipped it a couple times there. Hits it, breaks it, comes back down, resists 55,000 again. 55.5, the same thing, bounce, 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 break. And the same thing at 56 again, a little bit of bouncing, then breaking, holding 56 there, now holding 56.5. It's like basically what I'm getting at is every $500 seems to be a stop spot. So back, and then here's so that's 56.5 there, and now you're at 57 again. So we'll see. I think we could probably retest 56.5, but we've done that. We haven't retested it, but we broke it on a couple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 tops before finally breaking. So we're kind of seeing the same thing now at 57 here. So yeah, we could get out. We could see a big run is what I'm getting at here. If we do break through 57, bounce off 56.5, which is right here, could happen as well. So let's see if it retraces back down. And I think you could buy 56.5 and you could buy 56 as well. And then we'll see. I mean, if it breaks 57, obviously the next stop is going to be 57.5 and then 58 and so on and so forth. So Bitcoin, from what I've seen, trading in these $500 increments up and down. So yeah. Your boy is long crypto, and we're going to go long SOS soon here in a minute if it does break that 820.
All right, so we heard about this story going back, I want to say, a month ago or so for SOS. So they're just confirming. There was a couple of headlines that came out there at 9 o'clock for SOS. So they're just confirming what we already knew here. They've taken initial steps for establishing a digital asset exchange, which they announced, as I mentioned, going back a month ago. So it has begun for SOS. So positive news there. Let's continue along for the watch list this morning. Tesla going to be next. Elon Musk confirming as well on Twitter aftermarket yesterday what everyone already knew, that the company will now accept Bitcoin for a Tesla. So you can buy a Tesla with Bitcoin. They will not convert it into whatever currency. They're going to keep it in Bitcoin in their holdings. I just saw somebody on Twitter say, yeah, but can I buy Bitcoin with a Tesla?
Yeah, you can.
Sure.
Just put it up for sale. Someone will buy it from you in Bitcoin. You just tell them you want Bitcoin. Look, I mean, Tesla's just going to continue to make its moves. We're watching SPRT here, and I don't know, it's not doing anything, so we're just going to wait. Hopefully, sorry, that's SOS. SPRT, I'm still waiting for that. I'm not in it. Sorry, it's SPRT support here. Not doing a hell of a lot right now. That's SO. Come on, chart. You see the break, then we got some out at 66 there, and now we'll wait to see. I'm going to give it back to this 590 area. Okay, Tesla, yesterday we saw that stop at 700. Oh, yeah. Okay, yesterday we saw that stop at 700. Oh, God, and now we have this. I need to use other charts. Hold on a second, guys. Tesla right here. The 20-minute chart, you saw a stop at 700. How many times am I going to say that? Yesterday, a couple days ago, actually, and then yesterday was 680. Sort of, we never got higher than we were in the pre-market. And then the NASDAQ, you saw sold off yesterday into the close. So you see Tesla making that move down to 660. This 660 area is pretty key. It hasn't really, when it broke it, basically went all the way down. This was that crazy day, NASDAQ down 3%. We went down to 625. There, I think Tesla now has its little area and just needs to break out before I get interested. And this breakout starts right up here at 680. So right now, Tesla needs to get to 680 before I even look at this thing. It's not super interesting to me right now. You could have a 664 area of concern right here. Maybe that's called 665. You probably get that off open. If you really did like Tesla, you could buy it into the 650 area. But for me, I don't really get super excited until we break through 680, which could happen literally in a second. What was that, Valeria? The hats arrived. Oh, good. Our hats have arrived. So we have also hats up on the board as well for our merch. So we'll be wearing the hats soon, but pick up your hat. But thank you, Valeria, for that note. 680 for Tesla, I like. Other than that, man, you can just see what happens around 650. But for me, I'm going to wait until a 680 break.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing that we were talking about before into that 700. The long break before was 685 the other day into 700, and I think the 680. I'm looking at the same thing as well. But that's a scalp into 700. As long as that's resistance, you got to play off it because every time it's broken, there's likely going to be an actionable trade in that 700 to like this 712 breakout type of range. Good chance that even if you take off an initial long as a day trader, you have a chance to get back in that $10 range. And if Tesla's really going to break back into some of those, into the stratosphere. I mean, that's not true until we get to like the 760 area. It's that 700 that has to come first. And you can see every single time all these closes and open. There's so much interest around that 700 area. Got to play into it first, though, to get there. I like the 680. I'm sort of with you there. My dips in Tesla were a little bit deeper than that. I was looking for like that 636, 635 area, if it can get there. It feels like that's maybe come and gone, but, you never know what can happen. Got to have some bids out there just in case.
All right, making its debut first, guys, on the show. Here it is. Yeah, they just arrived. Oh, it's pretty nice, guys, I have to admit. These are very, very high quality. So these are the hats, baseball hats. We have three, Valeria, correct me if I'm wrong, three different.
A trucker hat and what they call a dad cap.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one this one is, but Lucas just handed me one. Okay.
That one, because you can see by the back.
Yeah.
Turn the back around, Brennan.
Yeah,
You can there we go. It's not the snapback.
Yeah, really nice.
Mine is the snapback. So the snapback going to be coming soon. Okay, shout out to Mark Roberts here from Sun Lake Strategies. Just gave us a heads up on BCLI, Brainstorm Cell Technology. Apparently some, not I don't know, cure, but treatment for MS. So we'll see here. You can see the nice bump up, 22.5%. So again, it's probably on people's radars already, but Mark also hearing some chatter about BCLI, and he notes to us that we're short about 15% short interest in the name. So BCLI, shout out to you, Mark Roberts. Thank you so much for bringing that to our attention and to our show. Check him out, Sun Lake Strategies. Mark Roberts, the stock father. BCLI, a name to add to your watch list, Brendan.
All right, let's go to Viacom, guys. We had a big move down yesterday, to say the least, both in the pre-market and aftermarket again. So they announced a stock offering yesterday in the pre-market. This thing got clobbered on that news. We're down again this morning as they priced said stock offering at $85. So Viacom, via C or via CA, depending on which one you want to look at, both trading one and the same essentially this morning. 85 where this offering is going to come through.
Yeah, you never like stocks that have share offerings, but they told us the price, it's at 85, so now we have to just watch to see what happens. It's probably going to get to 85, and I think you could take it out if it goes. I mean, this is just a bad note for current shareholders because yesterday you're kind of cruising upside 95, 96, and obviously they get wind of this. The market does crash down here at the end of the day, but you go to 90, 90, 50, and then today, unfortunately, that news comes out and they priced it, and it was a monster one, right? It was, 10 million shares and 20 million of its Class B, 10 million of its Class A, it looks like. So right now we're at via C, so 85. I mean, just look at the volume, man, 4.5 million. I wrote down 88 as a spot here to go. Again, I'll call up the 20 minute, I keep saying period, moving average. So we dipped down here back on the 17th. We touched as low as right here, 86, right? So we've been down here on fundamentals before, but if you look at a daily chart, so $88 is right here. Sort of ignore this little move, but it's just back. I don't think we get there. I thought we may rally into, but the NASDAQ and the market's fallen off here, so Viacom will follow the market a little bit. Look at the daily chart here for Viacom. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I think you can buy it. I mean, this has just been a monster. Like back in March, I just told Valeria to start buying every single stock, big name stock you could think of, because when you see big companies make moves like this to the downside, and then look at this run that Viacom's been on lately. We know all the talk about streaming and about content and things like that, but this is just a monster move up to 100. It comes back. Remember, on the daily, it's not gonna touch the 50 period, but you do see it coming back in here to 88, 89. You know what? I love that 85 here, and we could break this right now on open. So I'm gonna add it. I put 88 on my list, but I think 85 could be something to go with. So let's just see how this offering is being received by the public. We'll see the market makers step into this name. Oh, well, we haven't done yet. It's 9:15. I haven't even showed the imbalance locator. It's sleepy time. I don't see, Viacom is of course NASDAQ. That doesn't come till 9:28. But you got this is how you know it may be a slow day, guys. Like Palantir here, 88,000, right? As you go on, CCL, 158. AMC, like GME's not even on here. Oh, there it is. But it's not even on here. 88,000 shares into GME. Pfizer and CDE, I mean, so far, not so great on the imbalance locator, but we have the names for you as long as you're trading this. Neil's already active, Brendan, and myself. So let's see if we can't pick the right names. Viacom through 85, I like.
Yeah, and one of those names too is here boxes shuffled around there. Intel just hit that 66.40 mark, and basically going off of this is 1 minute chart. I got to go back here so you guys can see a little bit. Not quite at that pre-market high. But I'm more concerned with that 66.40 when you go to that higher time frame in the 15-minute chart. It is this top that I'm looking at here, guys. So 66.40, yesterday's intraday high, despite the fact that we haven't broken through the high of the day. If it does get through that 67 top, I'll probably have already scalped some out on Intel. So add that one to the list. Got into that just now, a couple of seconds ago, what Sean was mentioning.
All right, travel stocks, guys, hurt yesterday on increased COVID cases over in Europe. They're talking about additional and extended lockdowns over in Europe as well. So this entire group significantly weak on the day yesterday. We are seeing a lot of them bouncing back this morning, as we mentioned with Mark earlier, kind of back and forth action as this headline-driven event continues to produce some opportunities, but definitely have to be in the right direction.
I kind of look at CCL. I mean, it's absolute bloodbath. And one of the things I'm going to say to myself, oh, wait a minute, where's my order? There we go. Sorry, just covering some of that Intel. Just got like a 37-cent win into that 66.80. 66.90 is the high of the day there. So that's already looking pretty good on the breakout, testing the high. But CCL, if I ever see this again, where we talked about this with AMC at 14.50, and then it was the same thing with CCL at 30 even. We had this double top forming, and then there was this little retest that failed to get there. I mean, sometimes these short opportunities are just too good to be true, because look what happens when it fails in the pre-market on the gap up. So it runs away from that 30 area, tries to consolidate at 28, does so, pushes back up, and then you get this pre-market push, and then again at the open, trying to break through the high, doesn't get to 30, and then it's just an unbelievable short opportunity. And I saw a similar setup there in 14.50 on AMC. That we got a little piece of, but CCL now trying to gear back to the upside. I do like a 26.20 break. I look at the bloodbath that was yesterday in this little gap, and the risk reward looks pretty good to me, because with the tight pre-market range, I can go back to an old sort of strategy that I liked, where you did have a multi-day run to the downside, a sort of hard bottom at 25. You get the gap up, and I'll just literally give it that opening. So I'll literally give it the pre-market range. So if it goes to 26.20 break on CCL, I'm not letting it trade past that low, which is at like 25.92. So maybe about 30 cents worth of risk and so much room to run back to the upside. So I'm looking at CCL through 26.20. It's the only thing I had written down. Just saw a big seller show up on Intel at 66.80 for like 20,000 shares. So glad I got some of that out in front of that high.
I just went long. I didn't even notice that Intel ripped. I was looking at too many things here, but I went long at 66. I mean, on the sticky note right here is 66.50. It's right at the top of Intel there. So we did like that one. So I'm going to get in. I'm in now at 59, and I'm going to be averaging into this one as we go. I do like Intel today, and we told you why for that. Another name to watch out today for. What about BFT? Tomorrow goes merging. The vote happens tomorrow with PaySafe. PSFE it's going to turn into. I love BFT, man. I mean, I've been into this name for a very, very long time. Thank God it's bounced a little bit. The last buy I got, ooh, that's the 1 minute chart. I want to show you the daily chart. I ran, like NQ, come on. I ran to BFT there when the show was over a couple days ago when we had this bottom, and I actually got some, believe it or not, at 1270 down here on BFT. So we've been long since they've announced the merger with PaySafe. I like everything about PaySafe. They're big into gambling. They're big in the space. They have Skrillex and they have NetTeller and a few different other things. So we will see about BFT. But if you did like your SPAC City, and I don't love the SPACs, FSR is another name that I'm in, of course. You guys know that one. I thank God got some out here in the mid-20s when we see. Come on, like why isn't it changing my daily chart? In the mid-20s here when we started ripping up on some of that news when they were on Kramer, when they were on Mad Money, and they talked about the ocean and they got more sales and whatnot. But now look, you see it just drifting back down. I don't know what to expect with BFT, but we are in that name. So we'll wait to see on the high side. Intel now moving for me as well. So this name going upside. So we're going to go already at least 1 for 1 on the sticky note here as, yeah, that size doesn't scare me. 66.80. Over 2.1 million shares right now. This is going to take this out. My first offer is just above this guy. So let's see what happens, man. If it bounces up against them, we'll see. But I want to hold this for a while. I'm also trying to bid lower. So if we can get any fall down in Intel, I want to be a buyer. Let's just check AMD quickly. This is like near where I bought AMD the other day. So AMD's come off, and I think AMD probably goes down today on this Intel news, but let's wait and see.
All right, just checking on oil once again, guys. Yeah, still higher on the morning. The energy group has been strong over the past week and a half, 2 weeks even. Back to recent highs here this morning. We saw in the pre-market 2% plus for crude oil again. Some of these energy names up equally. Not a heck of a lot of volume in the pre-market, but 2% gains kind of hard to ignore when it comes to oil stocks.
Yeah, and we talked about this with Mark, and I go back to like, not to my roots, but the stock that I used to trade a little more heavily on the show, and we would go to it. And maybe we just needed the catalyst, and you can see yesterday, I mean, you have so much volatility in a name like an Oxy with these dollar moves, and it gave you like this double top right around when we're trading here at 27.25 or so at that little top end. And I just like this one for the bit of a breakout. You're already making that support. Mark was like, is there a dip play to be had here? He said, I didn't think it'll break below 26. That definitely emboldens the day trade. But here's the 15-minute chart. And why I like 27.50, you're sort of going back a couple of sessions ago, right at that close in the aftermarket. We're holding down at that bottom at 27.40. We're trying to break up. I'm going to round this one upside here and then just go for an Oxy breakout at 27.50. So, I don't know that, there's going to be, that the whole canal issue probably going to get resolved and not necessarily going to be the sustainment, but this term was about to happen. I think regardless, and you already made a nice bottom on some of these names. I'm talking about, basically holding this 26.50 area with a couple of retests down to 26 even. I'm not sure we retest that. But either way, I'm taking 27.50 to the long side. Can't say it enough here on Oxy. And I'm still looking, of course, at CCL. Not that they're related, but both sectors under some pressure in the last few sessions. And it looks like there could be a bit of a turn here, Brendan.
On, it's actually the June contract that's definitely moving the most here. If we could maybe show this, guys, I'll show you what I'm looking at just to clarify. 62.52 for the June contract. This is NYMEX crude. 62.52. You can see the volume definitely higher than May today. So yeah, recent highs again For crude oil, let's talk about these. I was going to mention NFT stocks, but we've mentioned them numerous times. We'll be talking about them throughout the morning. So don't go anywhere. Let's go down to Bionano Genomics, BNGO, a fan favorite, reporting aftermarket yesterday. It was a larger loss on the revenue side of things, 11.7 million versus 7.9 expected. But the per share number was actually a little bit better on the loss side.
Yeah, I think revenue was pretty solid as well. You're going to see BNGO is up 4% here. Now, when everyone was asking our take on this one yesterday, one of the things I was sort of saying is I would love to see this stock on earnings make a break out of the range, and just you didn't even see that in the post-market action. Like, you can't get past this like 960 to 980 area to get a break back above the 50 period. It never even tested below that $8 range at the bottom, and I think, you know, inside the middle, it's scalp city on BNGO. It's done 500,000 shares today, but I can show you. You just look at the last few sessions. It makes a heck of a lot more sense to watch it test the periphery of this range and then make a play off of that. To me, it's very difficult to get too excited about BNGO unless we're gonna be playing off of 8 even, which is, you know, one of the things that I had written down here. I think all the way down to like a 775 on an 8 even type of play. Give it some room if there is a bit of a flush. That's the way I'd be looking at BNGO today. I really wish we were actually going to break above that like 960 to 980 area. I think would have had room to run, but unfortunately the numbers didn't come as everyone was, I guess, anticipating, and disappointing the street a little bit. So I'll look to defend that 8 even area, and I wrote down giving it to like a 775 for me here on BNGO, but no trade for me off the open though.
Oh my God, where was my bid? Intel 66.19.
Oh, you just missed, dude.
Yeah, it only went down to 66.25 there. I stepped out, went to the bathroom, took a little bit of a break there. Look, these are the snapback hats right here. So official, it's in. There it is, snapback hat. And I agree with Brendan, man. The quality, very, very high. Anyways, if you want to, I like the hat. So that's it. You don't have to get it, but if you want it, it's on the merch site. I think it's like $30 or something, pretty reasonable for sure. Just a way to support the show, guys. So if you can drop that, yeah, we just missed that dip. That sucks, man. Like, if I was just a few more pennies aggressive there, which I'm going to be now, I'm going to put an order maybe 66.40 here on Intel and just wait to see what does happen. So support Intel, the only ones I'm in on right now, but we only have 5 minutes, so I think we just forget about the watch list quickly here. GameStop, we do have a 164 break, could happen. I'm looking more, guys, at 168 here on the 3-minute. That's this bottom right here. Let's see if 168 means anything. I like that break better than the 164, but the 164 high of day may do something as well. So I think we'll test that 164 out as well, but I do like 168 a little bit better. XOM, let's see where that's at. I missed it. I know Neil was talking about Oxy there and a few other names. XOM, and I apologize, I didn't even catch what Mark was saying about these names, but I like a 56 break. We've already broken that. We talked about that on my list, but now maybe 56.20, 56.30 to the high side right now for XOM. That's looking pretty good. That Suez Canal thing, I don't really know what to make of that, so we'll wait on that one and on how that's going to affect crude. Right now, crude is up for the day. How much are we up? 3% now for crude, so that continues to rock and roll. Oh man, look at these nasty deep prints. Actually, that looks pretty cool on the chart, but if you look at Apple here, I like Apple through 124. Right here, the 124 high, we add that. Apple through 124 has to be bought as well. And then the last trade, I mean, there's so much. You can check out my Twitter for the sticky note as well. QS through 58. Oh, shoot. We are right near 58 right now. That's this bottom. I like a 58 break, but it looks like that'll happen too early for me to take. And then we talked about it with Mark, and I had this yesterday as well. Walmart through 135, I think, gets a little bit exciting. So a few trades that I'm going to be looking at there today to start the show with. We only have 2.5 more minutes left, so that's a little bit. Oh, and I want to see if NEO holds 41, guys. It looks like it's going to try to do that as well.
All right, guys, there it is. Yeah, we are ever so close to 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. Make sure you take a second. If you're joining us for the first time, my friend over here is still taunting me every day throughout the show. Hit subscribe. Make sure you hit subscribe and like the show as well. And share it. Share it with a friend. All we're trying to do is spread the word that we are here. We do this every single day. We get to enjoy that, according to the producer, only when we get to 200 subscribers. Let's look at one little one, Aptos Biosciences, right at the bottom of the list this morning, up on positive leukemia treatment data that they released. They also reported earnings. Watch 550 here, obvious pivot from the pre-market, was around the high from yesterday. Needs to hold below this 40 level to go down. Otherwise, it takes out 550. This thing probably takes out the high of day, which is around 585, guys, for APTO.
And 90 seconds to go, and I'm glad there's a monitor in the way, so I don't want to always have to stare at that thing. And he's serious. We can't drink until we get to that 200. So get us there, please, guys. That is HOFV, and we talked about Hall of Fame. It's on our watch list. Always follow along if you can. Just going to the daily chart. Sometimes these levels don't matter, but there was a bit of one at 710, and then if we actually break the top, looking to see what happens at an 875. But I think the concerning thing here, why it's hard not to be at least a little bit of a bull as long as we're holding. We're right at that 7 even that I just showed you on the daily. It has tried to crack through a couple of times. I think it gets below that 675. You can at least think about the bear play. And once it does, I think I'll be looking for some short end moves. But as long as we're holding above, I think there's a decent chance that we're going to test that top. So if you're looking for that short sell action, which a lot of times that's what I'm looking to do. These prints didn't happen up here, but a test off the open towards that 815 high does make sense, given how much consolidation on 25 million shares worth of volume, and this thing is basically hanging out, holding that 7 even level rather nicely. So if it gets below 675, fair enough. I do have 2 shorts on it along already, so not something I'm going to force my hand into here. And wow, we are 15 seconds away from the open, about to drop this countdown. I think Miss V is on the bell, so let's get this party started, guys. It is Wednesday, I believe. Hump day. Let's make it a profitable one. 5, 4. Just got to CCL, and that just broke 26.20 as well. Market open.
All right, go ahead. You got the CC. Okay, there's Neo. We take that long as well. Wow, Dolphin explodes to the bottom. Look at the spread there, guys. We take that 28 break, but yeah, the spread right now like $1.50 or so. So let's see what Dolphin does to the downside. We are short now on that 28 break, but that spread is crazy right now on DLPN.
And let's go, already powered up. CCL on the 26.20 break, able to immediately get some out right in front of 26.50. I told you guys the stop was at that pre-market low, so I'm very, very happy to scalp with that 25 pennies out. See if we can't get another leg out there. So we're now holding half the position. That has gone well for us. I told you guys about Occidental as well. Oxy, we got off the long 27.50. This one, because I was managing CCL, heard me silent off the open there because I was trying to make sure I got some shares out of both. Did not get any on the Oxy cover on the first 15 to 20 cents on that move, but the break has worked on a couple of these. Intel also testing right through that high of day, was able to get some out for a 70-cent win on the other end of 67. So the longs coming in strong so far.
Yeah, not Neo though. We're averaging to Neo right now. We took that bid on the 41. We're just testing that 41. I should have smashed it instead of going long. So we went long here through 41. We're gonna give it just to this bottom here. Let's see if it makes it. Okay, we'll probably we'll get out soon, I guess, on a 70 break or so. This is not Intel, sorry. Neo coming to the downside right now. So we're gonna get out of this. Look at the NASDAQ screaming down. So we tested it. We mucked down 41. Just should have gone short instead of holding this stupid long on Neo. But here it goes. It's gonna break through 75 and we will get out. That DLPN though, what a crazy stock, goes all the way to 30 there. This spread is just too enticing. Let's see what it wants to do now. Maybe on the downside. I don't know, man. This is just a crazy stock. DLPN, we're short.
And I got to go to this ALYA if I can, just for a quick second. I've been in the money all morning long in this stock, but I just took out my my short in front of this 100,000 share order that showed up off the open. Look, if I'm sitting in the money this far deep, is shorted it at 75 the whole way through, holding on to the last 10% through an order like that, I see no reason to fight that fire. I'm not going to do it. Now we're deep in the money there. I feel like we're just going to take the money and run. And plus, having 5 positions off the open is a little bit on the high end for me as I go over to Oxy, which is pushing towards 28, taking some out here for another 30-cent scalp. So we'll go arrows up today. A couple of small caps that we sat in all morning long, but it's the long in Intel, the long in Oxy, the long in CCL, all running to the upside here. Brendan?
Okay, yeah, early volume leader here. Frequency Therapeutics, huge mover yesterday to the downside. They released some negative data, got cut by 75%. This thing went from $37.25 down to $8 at the end of the day. Popping back to the upside here, though, today on big volume, it's worth mentioning through 9 there for frequency, guys.
Yeah, you can see, like, so the ES is going upside and the NASDAQ's going downside. So, okay, NEO maybe now trying to retrace. So we'll go back long. We did get stopped out on NEO, not stopped out, but our order did stop through 75. Let's just, shoot. The NASDAQ looks like it wants to just continue to go downside here. I thought maybe we were recovering there on that dip, but doesn't look like it. And then Dolphin, man, fall through the earth there. I don't even have anything too spicy for me. Dolphin now, we get some out at 30.50. Now we're gonna wait for a 32 break, but that broke to the upside, so that'll be, like I said, man, if you're going to trade it, you got to give this some room. We were trying to get multiple dollars on this name, so it just didn't come through. Right now, we're short Dolphin, not working. We're going to get out if it breaks through 32. Other than that, though, our NEO trade just continues to be blah. Not much happening. Maybe we can find something on a longer time frame, but I mean, along the NASDAQ keeps coming down, man. NEO just keeps getting pumped all of the time.
And look, I said I wouldn't get distracted by GameStop. No executions here. It just broke through the pre-market high after a failed break at the open. And again, no continuation. So that is literally, I promise you right here, if I had been focused and trying to overtrade GameStop, I'd have 2 long breaks that wouldn't have worked out for me all that well. And instead, I'd be missing out on other opportunities. Thank you very much for that fresh coffee, Valeria, because while Sean was talking, I took a sip of a cold coffee that it wasn't good. I almost spit it out there, which would have been a bad thing. But BNGO actually making a test to the downside. Now it reversed hard off at 850. I didn't see the level 2, but if there was size down there, might be worth a look the next time Bingo gets down to that price. I did like a dip closer down to 8 even, but at some point you have to at least think about if it's going to support 850 with some size. I might look at that as well. Intel making some moves to the downside here. I took a couple of legs out. Now it wants to retest this level. Okay. You know what we talk about here. I'm your Huckleberry. If I liked Intel before on the break, I kind of have to like it supporting this 65.80 to 66 area down here. So if I can catch it on the dip, I actually just ran away from my bid. So I say this all the time. Get aggressive, cross the spread. Why do you care about 2 cents on Intel? That's me and my market making, getting the best of me at times. So just got back into some Intel shares right here at 66.20 on this little dip. You can see the run up into that 66.40 break right in front of this consolidation area at 65.80. So I'll give it to that range. Don't want to throw away everything that you've made, but the pullback is coming in rather strong in Intel. CCL, that's holding in the money. I think we're at up around that 26.75, so almost 50 pennies in the money. I should be trying to get out. I think I have an order in front of 26.75 to get some more profit there, but it's Intel I have to be concerned with now testing that bottom.
Yeah, Intel's testing the bottom. We're averaging into this. I don't really. What was the bottom that we were going to use? 65.25 or so. Okay, so I am long GameStop, man. We've had $2 or $3 winners multiple times here. We never took it. So we'll see here. It looks like it's going to break back to the downside. We were just taking that 164 long like we said we would, guys. And then look at what comes right back into the money for us. This stupid Dolphin stock. Let's put a bid. Shit. Screw you, Dolphin. Like, honestly, we just took that hit there on that name, $2, $3. Now we're going to see if it can retrace back to the downside. Let's see how long we can hold this one. I don't know, man. That was, damn it, that was brutal. Okay, and then Intel, we just did put our largest position. You can see my average price is now 13. So all we need is Intel to run a little bit and we can make a little bit of cash here. So 66.13 is my long on Intel, but it's coming back in like hard right now, guys. So 66, 65, 25 maybe as an out here for Intel, not working out. We do have QS on the watch as well. We just took that long through 57. I'm going to try to give this one down to this area, 56, like where we were testing yesterday, or even this bottom, man, 55.50 or so on QS. Let's average into that one. But if it's a negative day on the NASDAQ, which it looks like it's going to be, QS could be in a world of trouble. So let's put some bids here, 56.50, and then use 55.50 as our ultimate out on QS, guys. Yeah,
and I'll go with the poo-poo. So it's it's a load of you-know-what. Intel breaks through that 66.50. I'm going to hang on to the 2 longs that are working. The reload for me isn't going to work. The breakout trade looks like it's going to be the best one in Intel. I think I said that to you guys here. CCL, 26.75. Get some out at those quarters. Here's the first look at 50s. We took some out at the 26.20 break. Then some out in front of 26.75. I still like it back to that pre-market low. If it does come back in, I can always reload on that position. Brendan, what's up, bud?
All right, retailers were weak yesterday, along with some of the travel names. Macy's popping up as an early mover here. Yeah, 4% already. I mean, this thing was crushed yesterday, but nice bounce here from 16.25 up to 16.75 for Macy's, guys.
Okay, is Dolphin halted? Yeah, okay, I was going to say, like, why am I not out of this yet? Because it just kept crashing down, but then it halts. Yeah, screw you, Dolphin. We'll see if we can get a nice win off this eventually at some point here. Okay, GameStop just happened. So GameStop goes to the downside. That's fine, man. I mean, that was something that I thought was well worth the risk there on GameStop. We don't really lose anything. It was a small trade. We lose that $5 there on GameStop when we were trying to make it. So that was okay. I thought 168 could get tested. If it does, I want to go long through 168. But right now, GameStop just to the down. I mean, look at the NASDAQ. Like, it's like puke city here, man. Just keeps heading to the south side. So more damage happening for Intel as that can't get out of its own way, right? Yeah. If the NASDAQ's going to puke like this, Intel's going to be a problem for me. 65.20, we're going to get some out. I may get some out right now just to absorb some hit, but I do like Intel long. It's just, I don't know how much longer it can withhold this. The ES, on the other hand.
On the highs.
Look at the ES, bang, on highs. So a rotation out. I'm just trading the wrong names. I'm just trading all tech names, which is a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that's the reason I cut Intel and held CCL and Oxy, at least for now. I mean, I'm trying to take profits on the way up, but I do want to come back down if I can to, where is Dolphin? There you are. Dolphin on the halt trade, because I think this is a fantastic opportunity when you actually have one of these stocks halt to the downside after the moves that it's already put on. Remember, this is $5 a couple sessions ago, 18 at yesterday's price action. If it opens lower, I do like it up to the halt price to maybe test. So I'm saying it opens like maybe 24, 25. If that's the case, I would maybe give it back to like a 27.20 where it's halted now, or 27.26, and then maybe short it on the reopen. If it opens higher, I'm definitely going to try to fade it off of this 32 level. But I'm only looking short after the downward halt on DLPN, and that'll be open in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Those volatility halts can be either or, guys. So do watch out for them. That 850, yeah, there was nothing to see there on BNGO. So I'm going right back to waiting around for my $8 on that one. I said I wanted to be specific about bingo today, and it looks like the patience game is on. So other than holding on to the breakout longs in the travel and energy space, and that's CCL and Oxy, I'm not going to fight too many of these shorts. I can tell you it was a good out on ALYA. I showed you guys a level 2, and I was holding that one all pre-market. Whoops. Doesn't trade in New Zealand, Neil. Trades on the NASDAQ. Of course, it doesn't want to flip for me. There we go. That buyer has pushed the stock back up. I do not see them following or chasing this one to the upside in level 2. If it gets back to like a 360 area, I'll dip into a short again on ALYA. For now, it's my number one stock because I was heavily trading it in the pre-market. But we'll see what does happen with that CSCW because that one's looking pretty good too.
Okay, yeah, so right now, Intel does crack. We do get out of some of our shares, half of our shares. I want to go one more time and then use this 64.50 or so as an out, just see if there's some sort of a psychological out there at 64.50. Oh, did we just get longer? No, I did not. 64.79, 64.80 or so. Look at this NASDAQ, man. It just turns red. Damn it. Oh, man, only to have gone short on all these tech names, man. We continue to sit here. I'm laughing because it's just like, damn it, we missed it. Look at QS. We're trying to protect that area. It's going to come out soon, man, 55.50. All the longs today not working out. We're waiting for DLPN to open back up. We'll see where it opens. I have no idea. We'll get out if it does go back above 30 to conclude this disastrous day apparently here. Let's just see what's going on, Brendo.
Just checking on this one, BBIG, Vinco Ventures, toy maker, but just seeing some chatter online regarding NFTs for this one as well. BBIG up 30%, guys.
Yeah, and just gonna come back over. I know you're in that trade in DLPN, but there's also HOFV, and we talk about all these names sort of in that space together. You're not going to catch everything, and it's going to be pie in my face because I did say that 7 even area would look like it was going to hold and it was going to test to the upside. I didn't want to short this name because of it, but the breakdown has to be a part of it had to be part of it for me, and unfortunately, you're going to see me in some long positions that'll work and somehow not in this particular short. If it does make a test up, I'm watching that Dolphin. if it does make a sort of upward move on that halt, I wouldn't be surprised if HOFE then retests some of that chop in and around $7. And that's going to remain the key level for me on that particular name. I think we should be open any second now on DLPN. Did you get that? Has it opened yet?
Yeah, it opened. I mean, I didn't do anything about it, so we'll wait to see what does happen here. I don't know. We're going to wait. I do have some bids on the downside. I have no idea where this thing is going to open up. We will just wait to see on DLPN here moving. We did take another Intel trade, man. Let's just see what happens on the break. Here it comes right down, man. 64 right now, 50 coming crashing through on Intel. Not a good look here for that name, guys, as there it comes, just crashing down. Intel just out of control. I mean, look at the NASDAQ. It can't get out of its own way, man. So yeah, here we go to the downside. Our average price now on Intel, 65.32. Yeah, it's just been a nasty ride here for some of these tech stocks, guys.
Yeah, and DLPN not really doing much off that. It looks relatively weak here. It can't seem to break 28. Which would have seemed like to me like it should be flushing. If it can get through like 26.50, I'm going to go for the short side trade here if it breaks down, just because I had so much trouble getting to that, getting through that 28 level. And if it had broken 28, I was looking to play the short side if it got to 30 even. But now I have to watch out for that CSCW, which is making a push. Now I got out of most. I told you guys I got out of most of this trade in front of that low of the day, but it's right back up to this 170 level. So this is where I want to see it test the same level I was trading off before, 170 to 175. It's doing a bit of a reversal. That means I want to have a re-entry here if I can in the mid 60s. The exact same price I was shorting in the pre-market. If it can hold, rinse and repeat. Takes them out in front of the 55, takes them out in front of the 45, Brendo.
Yeah, the S&P leading, guys, as far as strength is concerned. The banking group among the leaders on the upside. 152 just got taken out there for JPM, trying to bounce today, up 2% so far.
Oh, good. At least JPM's moving the right way. So the account getting stronger in the long-term account, but not getting stronger here. 236.70 looks like a good breaking spot here for Intel, or for Microsoft, sorry. We'll see if it wants to go higher here through. There it is. So we take that long. Sorry, that's Microsoft. Intel, of course, just punches us out at that low. Now we'll see if it can make back a little bit of what we lost already on the upside here. Let's see if Microsoft can also take this story higher. 236.70 we're long, up to 237 would be pretty nice. If the NASDAQ can't go, though, we got to get out. We're not going to put our hat on all these NASDAQ longs today. It doesn't seem like it wants to work out. So right now we're watching out for Microsoft to the upside if the NASDAQ can hold.
And I'm going to be watching GameStop, but that CSCW immediately takes out that 170 level. Get out, actually accidental long position, which I'll cover, paying a little bit of the spread. One thing I always look for, if I get stopped out on a short that was looking fantastic before we made some coin on, I'm looking for the immediate rejection. Like, can it get back to this support level at 175? If it fails to make that break into the chop from like 6 to 7 a.m. this morning, I think it's a re-enter and then off of that 175. So I'm looking to see if it can't fail up here, which it's looking like it's going to do potentially. And if it does, I want to get right back in. Of course, my level 2 didn't change from CCL, so I'll get that in a second. My trading level 2 is over here, guys. If it does fail to get through that 175, going right back in below 170 on CSCW. So a failed breakout gets me back in toward that same short from before. And watch out, GameStop 150. I'm looking for a breakdown there as well.
Okay, yeah, GameStop is going to be breaking down for sure today. As you can see, it resisted some of those high spots. Okay, a couple nice trades here for Microsoft as we pick that up again off this break. So I don't know, man. We're just going to hit it because it's Microsoft and we love Microsoft. But yeah, Intel really shit the bed for us on the downside. And it tried to just make a move again up to 65.20 there and stopped again. So I don't know, man. I want to take the profits when they're there, but Intel just moving like a maniac right now up and down. So watch out for Intel. This DLPN, I'm going to get out if it breaks 30. It's just now it seems to be doing nothing, man. We could have got out for about $1. We were short at 28, so, or what are we short at? 28, 27.83. We could have taken it out at 26.50 there for $1.50, but we're waiting. Let's see if it has any more juice. If it goes through 30, we're going to fly out a dolphin, guys. There goes Intel back to the high side. Finally, I can't believe we got stopped out right there. That was a horrible out by me at 50. It actually 45 was the low. Let's see if we just can take some more out on Intel as it's ripping upside.
Yeah, I can cancel that order on GameStop. There we go. Get rid of that because it broke that 150. I didn't get the fill there. And again, you can chase as far as you want with an order. But remember, it's short sell restricted down that 10%. So you can't actually hit the bid. Need that uptick. It means you're playing a little bit of a... It is actually a little bit of hope, and I use an order that can route to some dark pools there just to make sure I get a best chance at an execution. But to the downside, you run the risk of missing on any breakout. break down, I should say. If it does want to bounce back up, let's see if it doesn't retest in and around 158 to 160 before a potential rollover. So you're going to see only longs on my ledger right now, as I just got out of course, that CSCW, and it has not made a return back below 170. So it's still trying to fail at 175. That story's not over. Story's not over on Occidental as well. I did miss a chance at a reload, unfortunately, as I was busy trading a few other things, trying to get into some short trades. It hasn't broken 28. I do feel like it's going to make some sense if we make some consolidation up at the top to take some shares off right in front of that 28, somewhere in the 90s. I think is going to make sense to me. And then look for a 28 breakout potentially on Oxy. It has all this room to run back to the upside. I mean, the ES moving strongly. And I do feel like at least to this 28.50 from a couple of sessions ago was a reasonable target out for the last of my shares. And that would mean 28 breakout, a good place to add. So I'll scalp some off in front, allows me to buy the dip, and then I can get back in on a 28 break on Occidental.
I mean, do we actually think Microsoft's going to go here, guys? I don't know. The NASDAQ tried there again, and so we're going to get some out here. It's a winning trade. We're up on Microsoft today, but it doesn't look... Okay, there it is. So Dolphin right there, not a cash cow as it breaks through 30, and we just get out of the rest there. Bad trade, but not as bad as it could have been, to be honest with you, on the upside there. If we got them out here at 32 or something, we would have been absolutely disastrous, but it does come down, gives us a little fill for 40-cent win, but we could have taken $1.50, and we just thought there was a bigger chance that it was going to fall even further than this. So that last hit there is $2. That is what it is. I mean, I still think we could fall down. I don't have any bids, and we have a small piece left. So let's wait to see what does happen here. But look at the NASDAQ, man. Puke City just continues to make moves to the downside. You got to get something on the short side. And Microsoft looking to retest this very bottom, man, 236.20. If we break through 235, 236, we got to get out of this one, guys. That is Mr. Softy. What up, Veep?
Hey Sean, traders on the chat are talking about Genius Brands. GNUS is up around 15% and trading on a high volume right now. Back to you guys.
Yeah, just sort of looking here, it just pulled back. So I mean, in the time that Valeria, you went up there, it just pulled back. So now 13% off of VWAP. So it's interesting, just sort of noting here, because I always go to the higher time frame to try to remind myself where the resistance was on this name, and it was up at about like 350 to 360 there on Genius Brands, and I do feel like there's probably some room to run. But Brendan, do you have the news there?
I just had a reversal there. Some market PMI. Producer index just came out. A bit of a reversal on the futures, guys. Just a heads up, that number just hitting. This one as well, Cinedigm, CIDM up this morning. Hearing some NFT chatter on this one as well. So CIDM up about that same 25 to 30% mark. Had trouble there at 2 the last time, guys.
Tons of NFT chatter everywhere. Yeah, okay, Microsoft, there it is, breaking through 236. It just happens. I mean, that number comes down, it's just bad. So now we're going to wait to see. I mean, I don't know how long we're going to wait, but we need to find something to short. I mean, it's already too late because all of these longs that I've had have just been getting crushed. The damage isn't huge, but I mean, nothing's been working. So when you add them all up, it's not good. Facebook might be one of the ones that we could take for a strong hold long. But on a break, we've already broken through 290 there. Maybe we have to find some other levels. What's Apple doing right now?
The ES is now following through as well after that number to the downside. So everything is looking relatively weak. And I was going to go to Tesla here because that just turned negative. Apologies for those wicks there. But I still like, where is my, now my chart's frozen there. So let's go back to Sean.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so AMD here, guys, a chance to look. We may just want to go short all of these tech names right now. They just keep, obviously we just talk about them. They just keep on getting destroyed, everything. Let's check out Tilray right now. And the market's not down that much. Like, it's only down 0.25. Like, we can make this back if it starts to reverse, but we got to find some reversal spots, maybe 13,000 here on the NASDAQ. Tilray down 2%. Boeing, I mean, there it is, Boeing, the one that's winning right now, as you can see. Boeing up that 2.5% now. That's a good play. My BFT making moves as well. There's Boeing 248.60, a good chance, but it just returned off on that move. You can see the ES here making that move down on that number that Brendan just gave us there. So watch out. I mean, the whole market now turning red zone. So we're going to have to get out and then just re-look at some of these positions and try to find better ones. Maybe even BA here at 246.50 or so, Mr. Wicken?
Funko, FNKO is the ticker. I was just checking. They updated their current quarter guidance, it looks like, on this one. Another toy maker, guys, FNKO. Big pop upside here. So, yeah, with the market weak, there are individual names showing a lot of strength so far, guys.
I got a Funko. I got the Austin Matthews of that brand, and I know a buddy of mine actually sells some of those, and he's one sold to me. But either way, CCL. Look, it's a good breakout, and I said, got to take some out in front of that 26.75. Thank goodness we did, because when the entire market starts to come off this, we're still in the money here, but it wouldn't make a lot of sense to hold this trade back into that 25.90 like it did with Intel, sort of giving it all the way back. If it can't find some support off of this 26.20 area, there'll be no reload for me, and I'll probably give it like a few pennies past there to make sure we don't turn this winning trade into a losing trade. But the market on a harsh reversal. I do want to see if Tesla does get down to that 635 area. It's not quite there yet, but it just turned negative on the session. Now I have to concern myself with Occidental pulling back to close to flat, CCL pulling back into almost flat as well. If we can catch bounces there, I like the reloads on those names, and maybe not any of the tech yet.
Okay, so we're super light. I mean, we're holding, you can see a QS, 57, 56, out 55, 50 break. So that's where we're out. So we have a very small position. I'm trying to hold it to see what it wants to do, as if now Dolphin starts going down. Like we're in the money 50 cents. Well, whatever. I didn't take the $1.50, so why do I care now? Okay, 53.68 here on QS. You can go back to a longer time frame here. This is just a 20-minute chart. Just to try to find where there might be some bottoms. I thought 55 was a good spot. If we can get that, we'll do that as well. But there's the 52. So, some consolidation here in the mid 52s and before resisting some breaks. The low break 51.50 there. So QS, I do like it on a rebound through 55 if we can get that. But right now it's not fantastic on that look. And then this is why we hold a little bit of Dolphin, as right now we're going to the downside. We are short, remember this name, 28 still, but it's not great. We've already been down here already once. Let's see if Dolphin can't get into the mid 20s, and then I'll be a little happier with this trade, guys. Brendan?
Crazy mover from yesterday, BNTC, if you remember, was up significantly in the pre-market, and then we had that crazy run into the close. Just tested 7 there and failed hard. Big rejection at 7, where it was trading in the pre-market there for BNTC, guys.
And just getting my stop order for lock and load ready to go in Oxy. I had a bad trigger, I think, on Dolphin there. It broke down towards that low 26. I got in and out of that one on a tight stop because I wanted to short into that at 30 even, a lot better than I like the actual breakdown trade. So not going to hang on to a loser. Occidental bounces. CCL, I did pick up some more shares as it tried to bounce off of that same low, but I did miss this reload here on Occidental. Unfortunately, just not quite fast enough to be able to catch it on the turn. Like I said, I'd rather dig into the names that have been working to the long side as opposed to sort of chasing some of the other I guess tech names that are coming downside, even though I think there's going to be some good buying opportunities in the coming days here, potentially. I'm not going to chase into them too early, especially a Tesla, which I want to wait for that 35 area. Walmart caught a heck of a bid down there at a 133, so relative strength in that it just went back to positive on the session. Of course, Dolphin I get out of. I'm going to show you guys this here because Dolphin, there we go. Look at this stock. Get a bad trigger, then get into the shares I actually want. It breaks that 27. This is that halt price, the previous halt price to the downside, which I always use as an out when I'm re-entering the trade. And then, of course, I make the top wick, and it looks like it's going to head to the downside. So, again, when you have a structured trade on, I put it in. My stop goes at exactly the price I anticipate. It's like I'm not holding through 27.25, and now Dolphin's going to go. It is what it is. When you're playing these, you got to stick to your plan of action. Unfortunately, on this push to the upside, it never pushed into that 31 to 32 area, so I could have $1 worth of a stop for that little flush that's happening right now. Looks like they're all starting to come in, which does lead me to that Hall of Fame, which is still actually holding its low of the day. So if this one does want to break a 630, I'll probably take it a little bit smaller than I would that Dolphin trade because they could move a little bit lockstep. As long as we're testing the lows and showing some weakness, I would like this one to the short side. It hasn't really tested back through that 7 even, so I think 7 still forms a bit of resistance. So just the reloads on CCL and Oxy temporarily for me, and I am going to get back involved in that CSCW. That's pressing the high of the day, but I want to be patient. Don't want to give back that day on that stock as well.
Yeah, Neil. Dolphin here.
That's a
This
pain in
was
the
a
butt.
trade that I had, and again, you got to, like I said, you got to give it bigger ranges there, and I did. It's just now the action's coming in, so that's fine. We have a $2 winner on, but it's not on many shares, but we are still holding it. It's too bad it broke that 30. Really, I mean, that's the killer for me, because if we still had it on, we'd be flat right now on this trade, because we got out for a $2 or $3 hit there in an attempt to make that $2 or $3, which now we're in the money, that $2. So we could have been flat, but it was this break that really hurt me there on 30. So, okay. All right. QS, we did average in, man. We got some 53.97s right now, and then it rips all the way to 55. So an average price now on QS is 55.25. It basically goes back into the money. We've already taken a little bit of a beat down right there, but now we'll wait to see, man. It does make some moves back upside on that NASDAQ. So I don't know. Let's just see. If NASDAQ can go, I do love QS to the upside, and I do want to try to hold a little bit of it. And I want to go longer through 55 if that breaks. So let's just hold it. If it comes back down to 53.50, we are going to get out. I'm not going to be the guy that's holding this forever today. We'll just wait to see if there is a NASDAQ bounce, great. If not, not great. But we don't know where it's going to go. So let's wait on that one. That is QS. And then as far as a short, man, like we wrote down XOM at 56 and then didn't even take it. 56. I wrote down 56. XOM here breaking through 56. It actually does that right away at 9:30. We could have had that log, man, all the way to 56.80. So the sheet remains the same today. A good one. Oh, GameStop. I wanted to go short through 158. Thanks for that one. 156. You could see all I was doing was looking for the long. There's the sticky note on that short 156. Stupid me, man. How obvious was that? That didn't even look sideways once it broke 156. That could have been a $1 winner. Ho-hum. Can't have them all or any winners today, apparently. What's up, Brendan?
All right, there was a note from Goldman, it looks like this morning, guys, talking about some of the materials that are used by EV makers for batteries. The cost of those going to go up significantly over the next few weeks and months. Look at XPEV today. It hasn't bounced yet. I mean, not one green candle, all the way down here, 6.5%, 36 to 33.75, guys, for XPeng.
Yuck. If that could happen in CSCW, I'd be very, very pleased with that. I tried to very quickly mention to you guys that I was going to get back at that one. You always have to have a stop. I was shorting that one in the pre-market. It was a great short. I tried the same price, had a tight stop there, and I told you I wanted to see it test that 175. Let's see what happened when it did. It broke through. Then goes towards that pre-market high at $1.90. I said I was going to get into the short off the high. Just got 185s as we brought that to you. Just took some out 78s, 75s. You can see all my bids down here into VWAP and that previous 168 top, 165 level that I was shorting. Yeah, I'm taking it out in front of that range. I might actually have like 10, 20% just in case it absolutely flushes on us. But I mean, with the story as Brendan mentioned, I can be happy about this going to the gates of hell. But it's XPEV, man. XPeng here. No, that's an unbelievable like $3 move to the downside. I remember reading that report and thinking to myself, okay, well that could be a bit of a pullback for these names. Just keep in mind, look at the consolidation it was already in that 33 to 38 range. I mean, below that price, you probably have some runway down into like the mid-20s where it had that hard bottom. It's hard for me to imagine that you're not going to find some support going back into like that March 17th low, that 33, I think 60. I think we can probably show that to you guys here on my 15-minute chart, guys. If it does find its way back down into this range here, you'd think there'd be some support down around that 33 area, 33 to 33.60. If it can level off, I'd probably dabble at something to the long side, but that is a heck of a fall. The market is still crushing to the downside. It's only CCL that I'm now holding on to long, and I got a small cap short that's working. Got to find something else.
Yeah, I mean, the market right now is crash city, but we did average into QS again, guys, right here at 53.96. It's starting to go up a little bit now. We just take another win on QS. So a couple bottom picks there on QS, and we took some out right there, 55. We want to go longer through 55 if it's going to work. That would be nice, but right now, QS trying hard to make a move to the upside now is QS. So let's wait to see if that continues continues to work for us now on the upside. We did take Intel again Microsoft on some of these dips. The high's been like around this 20. I'd hate to get it out if that does come through. I like to get out higher, but what we want sometimes is not what we get, as it looks like it's coming crashing right back down. We have to get out of this one if it does break down through this 50 level. So yeah, Microsoft, I mean, Intel, and keep saying Intel, but the market keeps on trying to go upside here, and it just keeps failing. So right now, some of these longs not going to be great, but I'm pretty happy with this QS right now going upside, and I think we'll take a long again if it does break back above 55. So right now, QS working for us on the long, and it's a small one, 70 cents in the money, but it doesn't really matter. We need the market to rally here to make some of this day back, guys.
Yeah, and speaking of rally, we'll go with, this feels appropriate because it's been a bit of a, the market is a bit of a crash, but the cash is coming in if you're trading some CCL. It's been one price for me and one price alone. It's 26.20 off the breakout, off the pullback, got some out in front of VWAP, and again, this is basically rinsing and repeating the same trade that we had earlier on, where you get that nice little double bottom, so you foul that one away. This is why we go over some of the levels in the pre-market and have a plan of action, because when all hell breaks loose, go right back to the two names that were working, Occidental and CCL, Carnival Cruise for me. If it does roll over here, I'm not letting it go, past this 26.20 area. Forget about that pre-market low. If it can't hold these highs, just run away from that trade. Stick with what is working for you. But I'd be remiss if I didn't at least look at NEO here. Load up. There you go. Bouncing double bottom around that 39.50. You're seeing the market try to catch back to the upside. I'm staring you in the face right here, 40 break for NIO. If I can catch that breakout, I'll take it to the long side just to see if this name can come back in. It's been a heck of a move to the downside. If it can pop, I like the risk to reward. 10 o'clock? Wow. Let's go to Brennan for happening now.
Hey, yeah, just like that, 10 o'clock. Let's have a look at North American markets, guys. We are seeing some positivity, but once again, shifting back towards the S&P and the Dow. You can see both nicely higher, 0.8%, 0.4% for the S&P. It's the NASDAQ once again under pressure, so tech stocks leading. As far as downside, bit of a choppy start overall, 0.25%, 0.3 there for the 100 and the composite on the NASDAQ. Small caps strong again today. Remember, we had 2 or 3 days, Mark Roberts talking about it, 2 or 3 days for the Russell, significant decline. So a little bit of a bounce back day, it looks like so far for small caps. Here in Toronto, the TSX 0.4%. A couple of things to keep in mind we were looking at in the pre-market. We talked about the NFT crazy stocks. Here's one that's not so crazy today. OCG kind of holding the bottom end of the range from the past couple of days here. Watch 11, then 1050 down here is where it ended the session yesterday for OCG. Tested higher, now testing lower for that one, trying to move downside for OCG. Tesla, yeah, big move down right from the word go. Today we're back to 653, guys, after that sell-off at the open there for Tesla. Back over to you.
And stick to what is working, guys. I'm going to go with do not look a gift horse in the mouth or stare it right in the face and slap it in the, well, actually don't slap a horse in the face. It'll beat you up. But all the way into VWAP here, I talked about covering a lot of this position and actually holding on to 20%, like I said, in front of that re-entry price I had. And this is the thing. If you're shorting into that move in front of 930, I like to do it after 930 ideally, right at that same price that I liked before, I'm going to have a tight stop because if it tests the high of the day, you want to be able to get back in. If you're averaging into it all the way, it's a little bit harder to hold on to the position. You're not going to get that winner here unless you're crazy, in my opinion, and just sort of blindly averaging in without any stops. You can always trade that way and then get broke. When you have your loss, it's going to blow up your entire career or blow up your week or blow up your month. I don't like that approach. I'd rather get out, lose a few pennies, get back in. I can make that right back here. If it does continue to flush, I'll take all of it out in front of 145 to 150. Zero question about that. I do think there'll be some other trades if it can hang below VWAP, but sticking to what's working is what's going to happen here for me. NEO did not make that break, guys, so as much as I wanted to be trading NEO on a 40 break, doesn't look like it could follow through even though the market tried to hold up. Bingo, it got close. It never quite got to that 8 even. I guess I shouldn't have been so picky. If I'd started this at like 810, 815, I would be long in BNGO. But like I said, I liked it at 8, all the way down to 775 for a defend. It never got there, so it didn't get into that long, even though it looks like it would have worked.
Okay, we did get into QS long upside here through 55. I mean, we basically dumped off these 53.80s, 54. We dumped them all here near 55, right? Because we knew we were going to go long. So we wanted to make sure that we got out. And then we'd have our last long position here to try to run this through, man. I see you guys talking about QS. I thought the same thing as you guys, that there would be some strength through 55 here, but actually quite the opposite. It's not doing anything. And you have a 20-cent spread here. So, I mean, some of these names that I'm trading today definitely opened up. Like, look at that level there. And like, look at it, just crushed it right down. There's big sellers today. Like, I don't know, can we get through that? There it goes. We just ate it up. Like, this is just, some of these levels today, man, I don't know, man. These are slippery slopes today, that's for sure. I do like a Neo break. Okay, here goes Microsoft. Hopefully can start to go. If the NASDAQ goes, I don't know. We'll get some out here in the 20s if it can go back up. We're long right there at 24, so I won't mind taking out something for flat here, but maybe we'll hold it a little. Okay, let's hold it a little bit for some upside surprise, hopefully. And then surprise, Neo. Let's wait to see if it takes out that 40. I do like that call there on a Neo 40 break. See if it can run. We could start bidding down here, but we already have longs on. So let's not get too crazy. I don't want to just add to my long position by buying Neo right here. I'd rather just wait to see a clean break because we're already in a shit ton of trouble here if this market doesn't go up. So let's just keep on going. Here goes Microsoft finally. Let's see if we can get back to the 50s, guys, like this kind of a break, 45.
Oh, I missed a good one here. I just typed in the chat. I was letting you guys know that HOFV was making a big run. It got to that 7. It got through that 7 area. It got to about that 740 for the rollover. I saw a monster order on the offer right at 750. I wanted to play out that level, but it reversed and gave you the scalp already. I'm not going to chase this. It's too strong of a move to the upside for me to chase this too far down. I'd like to see it again below that 7 even or testing high of day. Brendan?
All right, someone mentioned this one in the pre-market as well. Genius Brands, GNUS, just taking out day highs there, 305 on a huge volume spike, guys.
Yeah, we're waiting on Jerome Powell and Yellen and all these jokers to come back on. Damn it. QS tried to go there, man. It went to 50. I was just waiting for it, watching it, man. It went to 55.20 there, the same level it went to last time before turning around. And obviously it's market related here as the market wants to turn around. So QS, yeah, it's going to be basically at the mercy here of the NASDAQ. So let's hopefully this can break. And if it does, man, if the NASDAQ just gets going a little bit, like touches this 13,000, then I think QS probably 56. I mean, I don't think we get back to positive today, but we'll see. Here goes to the upside. QS, let's take some out. I mean, we're just long right now. It's not going to be like a big deal, but we'll take a little bit out just in case it does resist this 20 again. And then, yeah, VWAP's at 40. And then after that, we wait for the upside. A 56 break is sort of what I'm looking at as Microsoft bouncing around. And I don't really have too many targets for this. I think we could get back into this consolidation where we first went long, and that's at VWAP 236.70. So a few little opportunities here, but needs to work. Still lots to go here before the market gets going. So it's only 10:10 right now. So let's see what's in store. I feel like the market feels weak, but with Yellen and Powell still to come, no idea where they're going to take this thing.
Yeah. We're going to go to Brendan just a quick second. I got to show you guys Occidental, and should have changed my tone here. If I give it an extra couple of cents on that reload, I mean, obviously I'm still in position. It bounces the same way CCL did, but too tight of a stop there on Oxy. I'll still be up on the name. CCL, of course, still in the money, but you know, as the market had that flush to the downside, maybe because the volatility increased, you got to give your stop an extra couple of pennies in the names that I liked, and I was picky about them, just not picky enough. Brendan?
Great short on Viacom, guys. Off the bat here, we talked about 85. The offering price came out after they announced it yesterday. Tagged 85 there at the open, just straight southbound. $5 now for Viacom.
Oh, wait a second. That's probably a good buy.
76?
Okay, we just got out there 32, 33 on Microsoft. It's just these little baby longs right here. You know, it's nothing, but this NASDAQ seems to have a problem right now. I told you it needs to get to this 13,000 and it doesn't. Thank God we did take out a little bit of QS, just like where we said we would at this top there. So we took out a little bit, but not enough, obviously, as I was never going to take it all out there, hoping for a move to the upside again. Microsoft continuing to fail there. Dolphin not doing anything, and that's about it for me. Oh, I want to check back Neo going the other way. Wow. Someone said, what about those Neo puts? And yeah, those Neo puts looking mighty fine right now as we go back to 39. I'm not in this name, and that's why when you're in trouble early, like we talked about 41, I should have smacked downside. I don't know why I bid that 41, but anyways, a small hit there, only 40 cents hit on Neo, but you could see, good thing we got out as this thing just like a rock dropping southbound here.
Speaking of dropping southbound, I mean, you mentioned that Viacom here, just showing you this pullback. I mean, you see this little dip. Look, it's a fantastic looking chart. There's no way around it. But you see this little pushback off of 85. 2 points here. One, you have this 78.82, 78.80 area to 79. You also have this other level here all the way down on the wick to 76. Those are the two places I would look to defend on this particular name. So first things first, it has to make a bit of a consolidation. When it's falling this hard, and I apologize for this wick, there's no way it traded up to 91. If it's falling this hard, you want to see at least some kind of a leveling off, which just has not happened yet, guys. So do pay close attention to this name. At some point, there could be a nice little round-off trade. And HOFV, quick little scalp trade as it broke that 750 area. And look, if you're ever going to be in position on something and you're like, wait a minute, I didn't like that long. Yeah, I had an offer for me getting short. I don't get the short in HOFV off of that level because I missed it. I then left my stop in there accidentally. There's no trying to turn it into a winning trade. I'll just turn it into a scalp and walk away from it. Look, this is what happens. If you try to turn it into a winner, I didn't like that long. I actually was looking to see if I could have shorted in front of that, but I had my stop out. I got in, I got out the second I saw it pop in. Thank goodness, usually those don't work out for you. I end up accidentally making money HOFV, but trust me, that is a pure accident. If you try to hold it, you can get badly burned. Brendo?
One we were talking about again in the pre-market, guys, Upstart, huge range yesterday, huge range for the past multiple days in a row on this one. It's already gone $15 back to the upside off this support from yesterday, guys, for Upstart.
Yeah, good little trade there. Neil was talking about that yesterday on UPST. Okay, just to give you guys an update here. We just got out some more at 30. I don't know what's going on with some of these names. There goes Dolph. Okay, there goes Dolph. I thought I was going to get out at 30. I don't know what happened to my order there. Did it even go out? No, it did not. Okay, so this is not actually. Now that I look at this thing, it is going off here, but I do think that it's resisted these moves a couple times. It's 32. This is probably a decent spot to get in a little bit more on Dolphin, just in case it retraces back downside off this 32. Look at the spread though, guys. It's 50, 60 cents. So you got to be very, very careful on this one. I think I'm going to take another short though, right around here, depending on what price I can get. And then we'll hold it until 32. But if 32 goes, then it's adios amigos on Dolphin. But yeah, again, you know what? Like I stared 250 in the face. There goes 32. Yeah. And we didn't do anything about it. So this is just a small piece. You don't have to worry about that. But there's the high, 32.50 again taken out there. So Dolphin, no idea what this name wants to do today, guys.
Oh, and it just gave one of those like fail break looks, which I like to wait around when I see a level like that, and his stock has to give more room. So I got in at 30.50. I'm like, okay, do I add in front? I don't want to add in front. I want to see if it can fail break on me and then take out that new fresh high. So it looks like it's trying to hold it. For now, anyone that took that long trade is staring a fail break in the face. So what I like to do is when it does a fail break, I got in the rest of my shares there. I can now give it to that high a day. This is my stop order that's going to go to 33 and pay up to 33 if it breaks 32.50. But I like waiting for that secondary entry because if people went long on that break, they're going to give it a couple of legs here, and there's no way they're going to hold it past that 30 even. So it allowed me to risk instead of getting in everything at 30.50, then risking $3 on the overall trade. Now I can risk a little, or $3 or $4 on the overall trade. I can risk maybe $2 to $2.50 on the same thing. And if we can get back below 30 even, this could get rather ugly for those longs that just took the break. Brendo?
Another one moving, guys. CTXR just popping up here. Citius Pharmaceuticals just broke 215 there, day highs. About 8%. They're going to present some much awaited data on one of their trials coming up at a virtual health conference, sounds like this weekend, guys.
Okay, so I averaged into that Dolphin as well. So there's that take at 32. Let's see how far we can go now to the downside here on DLPN. Dolphin, there we go. Walmart, we could check back on that. That was one name that we added to our list, hoping that the market may be strong and we would be able to take out this 135, but instead we drop down and make a beautiful bottom there at 133 and change. Okay, QS. just fell down again. So look, the market started to go, QS did not. These are the best buys down here. So I'll probably go back in and then just wait to see if 53.85 or so can fill 53.60 on the downside here. Let's get some more longs ahead of 54 and then just wait. We did take that 55 break, didn't work out obviously, as you could see that. So let's take another little bit long, as it looks like this battery space just not coming through for Quantum today, down that 6%. We know this name can run, but we gotta take some more spots, and then we're gonna give it to 53.50. And if that breaks, then we will be out of QuantumScape here. So let's be very, very careful with this, but I think there's a definite opportunity to buy a little bit more here and then give ourselves 50 cents worth of risk for a potential huge upside. But the market right now turning, guys. I mean, it's not, I don't know. Maybe we'll just leave Quantum. We have a small piece. We'll see what happens if it gets down to the 80s or 90s, guys. I'm not sure about this name anymore.
Yeah, and just took some out there. This is what I'm talking about. We'll go power up there. And look, I apologize, and thanks for the kind words, the explanation on that little dolphin, what we're looking at for that short. But I'm trying to spit it out fast while it's happening so you can get a sense of what I'm looking at and throwing orders out and getting stops and why. On this little attempted rollover, I was like, do I double down? I'm like, no, not yet. Wait for it to actually test that top. And one of the reasons why I'm able to put that trade on is because I've been burned by doing it the other way. And if you've lost a couple of times and had that experience of, I've been tricked into it too early, there's a better way to play it or to add into that position. Sometimes you learn the hard way, and I'd rather learn the hard way than tell you guys about it so that you don't. But as it breaks down towards 29, can I start a gift horse in the mouth? If it's going to hold VWAP here, there was some chop in front of like 28.50. I should definitely be taking another leg off in front of 29 for a $2 winner. And then if it does make a bigger flush, that final third, yeah, we can hold on to that for the home run at the low of the day, guys. But that's just one way to think about trading these names, that you have to give a little bit more room there. Be patient when you're going to add into your position. Make sure it follows your risk patterns. I am going to come back to that CSCW just for a quick second, as Dolphin can be in the money for me. That bounces, and I'm still holding these 185s. Never got all the way down to 150, unfortunately. But I did miss this little fade into here, into 175. So as I was talking about Dolphin, CSCW gave me a re-entry at 174, 175. Same areas where it had some chop before and I was getting out. But I'm not going to chase it too far. Either it gives me something closer to that 175 to 180, or I just simply stay away from it. There is no need to chase anything today. Be patient. Hang on to your profits. Stick to what is working for you. I'm trying to reduce the number of symbols. And notice, I had a goal today to not get distracted by GameStop. I'm happy with myself that I actually followed that rule and didn't just go to that because it was, you think it's going to move and then it doesn't do anything. I missed one trade in it. It is what it is. Plenty other fish in the sea, guys, to make that money on.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go to GameStop. I mean, I've lost on GameStop today, but GameStop not doing much, man. I mean, my big call that I didn't even hit was 156 short. We did hit that 164 long earlier and then had that drop off. That did go in the money, $3 for us. But again, trying to make a little bit of money here today, not working out if you're holding any longs. So we'll wait. We'll wait for the market to go for us again and just see what happens. QS just still hovering around, man. There's that 80 break. We do have this bottom, so we're going to try to give it to that. If that's good and it holds, great. But at this point, not too certain about anything. As the NASDAQ turns from positive to negative real fast, I don't even see those guys talking yet. So we'll have to wait to see if they're coming back on board or not. Here is for us on the market. I'm talking about Yellen and Powell right now, just waiting for them to come through. But other than that, Dolphin, I didn't take any profits down there. We'll see if, 29 hits again. That put us in the money $1. I just waiting for it to crack, man. If you go back through 32.50, sure, I will take that $2 hit, but I'm just waiting for it to crack and just seeing not super positive on the space. So I believe in that, and let's just see if it can come back to the downside. That is Dolphin trying to make a move down, I think. Here, it just bounced off VWAP, though. It's still pretty strong today. Let's wait to see what it has. I just don't believe in this name, so I'm going to try to hold the short as much as I can, guys. Yeah,
and I believe in holding the short. I actually anticipated it was going to pop off VWAP there so I could reload into more shares. So I get some out. I'm going to take like $1.50 if I'm going to get a chance. I actually am going to go ahead and cancel this bid in front of 27.50 because Echo the Dolphin lulls you into a sense of sleep. I feel like that lulled me into a sense of insecurity bouncing off of VWAP, and it should have been security that it couldn't bounce up. this has a decent shot to get all the way down to like a 26 to 27 area. So I should be shooting for like $4 or $5 here. Wow. 10, 20. This day is flying by because this market is moving and there's a lot of fast-paced movers. Some small caps all over the place as well. Let's go to Brendan for an update at the big screen.
All over the place indeed. Yeah, small caps, I mentioned the Russell up almost 1.2%. So a little bit of underlying strength in small caps today. I'll start with this one Neil was mentioning. ALYA up on some deal news today. Could not hold that 350. 350 support. Once it broke, gave you an opportunity there. Really good opportunity to add into that just before the open. But it does fail eventually. We're down to 260 now on ALYA. Volume dying off, though, pretty quick on that one. So just be careful if you're still in that. HOTH, one from yesterday. You remember this had a huge move back to the downside all day long. Bit of a slow mover, not terribly exciting, but HOTH was kind of hoping we'd get a little bit higher there at the open to give you some fills. But that one working nicely to the downside. The CSCW, just crazy range. Crazy price action so far. Trying to be patient with this. 185, I think you can use as the top now. Could probably be adding to this as I speak, but hey, I'm here. A bit of a break early on, 160 down to 140. 185 we'll use as the top now to 155 there, but needs to break that 150, I think, to really give you a good move to the downside. Guys, back over to you.
We're glad you're here, Brendan, so don't worry about that. You can go back now, run back to that position and put that on. Yeah, thank you, Brendan, for the update. Look, we got to, when names and the market's moving like this today, man, watching the right sectors, watching the right names, watching the right movers, so key, as you can see. I mean, I haven't been doing a very good job of it, but we do have this dolphin on board, and I just keep talking about it because right now we are finally breaking, so let's wait to see. I mean, I still have downward visions of like 26 again. So let's see if that can hit. I'm holding on to Dolphin right here, guys.
Yeah, and speaking of that space, look, you can't get away from HOFV, which is also pushing the downside. Now, I've taken some off in Dolphin, both these in and around VWAP, HOFV holding below it as well. And this is why you don't hold on to a trade you get accidentally. If I have a stop, it can play both ways. It gets me into position as well because it's just a conditional order. I take it out almost immediately once I notice it. Otherwise, you're getting absolutely crushed. I'm not going to give up 80 cents on that stock. It just makes no sense holding on to a position I didn't want. They are moving a little bit lockstep. So if I do get a push down in Dolphin, I do think we're going to get a little bit of a 680 break on HOFV. So I would just look out below. What was that bid there? Okay, I mean, I see a little bit of a buyer sort of throwing some shares at this like 688, and then is there anything a little bit lower here? Yeah, really not too much, like 688, 685. So I do think you're looking at a 680 potential breakdown and a couple of maybe people covering some shorts there. I'm not sure, or maybe they're even building into a long position. But maybe if 680 cracks, the weaker of the hands might take it off. So watch out for HOFV below that 680.
Okay, Dolphin breaking through 32.50. Okay, Neo, we could check back on that. I don't think that's going to, I'm going to cancel that 40 trade. I don't think that's going to hit, but we will look at that. And then QS breaking back downside for an out could be taken as well. There's QS. We're into this name again. What a surprise. Like, such an idiot. Okay, 53.50 right now. Bouncing. So let's see if it breaks through 53.50. If it does, man, then I think we got to eventually at some point give it up. So 53.40, should be good to go. If it breaks through 53.50, there is some size there. Let's just see. Here it goes. It's going to take it out, man, and then we're just going to punch out. This is not a big hit on this time, but QS, we've just been long. You can see all these longs here, and it's been a disaster. Like, we went long here, and it was fine. We made some money back, but then that dropped off, and that gave us a flat trade. Now we're averaged in. So if it doesn't go, it doesn't go, but there's nothing we can do right now for QS. Let's just wait and hope. And I hate using the word hope. We talk about that all the time. Like, if you're hoping that something's about to happen, you're probably wrong. So I know I'm wrong on QS, but let's just see if it does have a chance to get back to VWAP here on a big move down, man, 6.7%. Should have just switched it up and gone short initially when we came in and saw that the stock was hit. But the NASDAQ not helping out today as well. So 53.50 breaks, man, that's an easy out for me. I always play off those pieces. So there it is. If that breaks, we're gone. But right now, not looking great for QS. We should have found something there. It's going to break right now. Look at the NASDAQ spitting to the short side. Right there it is. Ooh, now, it was just at 31.32, then down to 28.27. This is going to break. So we'll be out of that. And then our last piece will be out at 53.20. So QS not working out here, guys. No longs really working out right now for me.
I know as you say that, I see you guys in the chat. And I absolutely love this because I'd forgotten a little bit about SOS, and one of the reasons I love the community is you guys are going to let us know what's moving, and we're actively trading here. So obviously we're going to get distracted at times. We apologize for that, but it's just the reality. SOS. Giving it back, but holding pre-market low here. It also closed at 650 or 648 or so. Yeah, so I took my shot here. I took some 668. It did break down. Actually broke almost through this temporary low. Failed at that pre-market bottom, and then came right back up when I snapped up some 68s to the long side. Look, if you can even get back to 7 even, I'm going to like this trade here because the risk to reward that it holds the bottom is pretty solid. You're risking about 10 cents to make a little bit more, and I'm just watching, spot doing okay. And we talked about the range in this name. It's at the bottom end here. I mean, of course, if it ever tested and broke through that $9, all systems go for a bit bigger moves. But as long as it wants to try to hold the low, I'm going to take a shot at this one. The risk to reward is going to be tighter. Sorry, risk to reward. My stops are going to be tighter on anything that is screaming to the downside on the longs. And then for like that DLPM, which I'm still holding on to, I actually just, like I said, I had canceled my bid, moved it down about $1 or so, just thinking, hey, this is going to continue to flush. There's always a 25 break that we can have to get back into position. If it retests 32, I want to be able to reload if I still like it up there. But why not give it to that opening range, not the opening range, but that 10 o'clock bottom that you saw at 27 instead of that 28.50 where I had it before. So hanging on DLPN short side trade. I just got into that SOS, and I actually still have CCL because look at that. Right back to 26.20, right where it was before. If it cannot hold it this time, you got to walk away from this market looking hell of weak. If it can hold it 3 times, that's fantastic. I'll try to pick some up maybe on the way back up at like 30 or 40, but I'm not buying into this a third time. If a third time isn't a charm, I'll walk away from CCL with a series of successful longs despite the market looking relatively weak. Although it's worth keeping in mind, the ES is up 0.26 on the session. I know the NASDAQ is down 0.5%, but it's 0.5%.
Yeah, the NASDAQ's barely down. Yeah, good call. But everything's barely down. Yeah, I like that CCL at 26.20 there for potential. Dolphin does go all the way down to 27.50. And again, there it is, man. I had the $2.50 winner, didn't take it. I think there's lower coming, so I'm not going to take it. CCL right now on New York. Let's just wait to see. 26.20. Yeah, that's a great long there, breaking to the high side. If this market does run, we've got a few positions on. So if the market runs, we will be good, including this QS. Now starting to, man, it bounced off that 53.50. Come on, NASDAQ, let's go. Man, this is frustrating. Oh yeah, by the way, new hats just arrived. I picked them up on our website. There it is. Good one. This is the snapback hat. What up, Beep?
Okay, so Yellen and Powell, guys, have begun their questioning once again, so heads up on the overall market. Also, this one of the NFT names that's, not really doing much today. Hanging out here at 42 for this TKAT. Did give you a nice move up to 48. Yeah, $6 move to the downside for TKAT, but it's been moving $10 at a time, it seems, over the past couple of days. So a little bit quieter for this one today, guys.
And I just threw this one in the chat, but I'm going to go with the fist bump. And the fist bump is to you guys for reminding us about in the chat about that. SOS is moving. We're talking about this name. It's not like we're ignoring it. It was certainly on our pre-market talk. I see it pumping into the bottom, to the low of the day here. The risk reward is good. Like I said, if it gets to that 7 even, I'm very, very happy to scalp it off into that range. Maybe hang on to the last 10% for a bigger push into VWAP here, just in case we get a big time runner. But it could be consolidation at the bottom. And if that's the case, I want that shot to reload a couple of times here. If I can get a crack at it, that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I did take that HOFV. Now, if I'm going to be holding short, right now in the money about 250, 260 on that last of the Dolphin position, and I get into HOFV, tighter stop for me on that 680 break. I was playing with that level off of some of those bids that I showed you that got broken down. But if it trades above 7 even, I don't want to be married to this position. I'd rather hold on to DLPN and cover with a tight stop that HOFV. If they both go, fantastic, but I don't want to be holding both of them and getting too stubborn on both names at the same time.
All right. Yeah, I am still trying to find something else here, guys. CCL was a great one off that bottom. I missed that. Space is not really doing too much. Some of the weed names. Is there anything you guys are looking at? Put it in the chat, and I can see if I could take a. Screw you, XOM. Like, look at XOM. 56, like today, is just, I'm long a bunch of stuff. You guys can see that. And then it's like the ones I'm not long are the ones that, of course, are working. XOM through 56, we loved that trade today. It was on the note, and you could see it just worked all day. And then you get that upside there at 57 and change. So very, very slippery there on XOM. I mean, a big move up. You still have these spots here, 56.50. It's coming back down to VWAP. Oil, though, this is what oil just did. Oh, it's 10:30. That's why on Wednesday we just had the oil number. Look at this, 56, 59.80, and oil dropping back down, still up that 3%. But oil, CL, making a move right now to the downside. Crude. So let's see, 59.50. Here it goes. Yeah. So oil, big move down. I don't know if you have that number there, Brendo, but there it goes. We used to talk all the time about that, and especially now with the run that it's been on. Let's watch out. XOM trying to break this 56.80. Give it to us, Brendo.
Yeah, a little bigger build than expected, it looks like, for crude oil inventories. I mean, we went through a period of time where this was a very good trade, very volatile. Maybe that's coming back a little bit here, but yeah, I'll show you the number here if we can just scroll up a little bit. Bear with me. Crude stockpiles, there it is, 1.9 versus 272,000 on the drawdown side. So a build of 1.9 million versus 272,000 on the drawdown side. 10:30, that means there's an hour left in the session over in Europe. Miss V is watching what's going on over there. What's up, Valeria?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are mixed as new lockdowns weigh on the region. Travel operator TUI trading in Germany is up more than 7% on cost-cutting measures. Company announced the closure of 48 more stores in the UK. Back to you.
All right, coming up in 45 minutes, guys. Don't go anywhere. Great guest coming through once again. Yeah, Josh Barch from Meidson going to tell us about a brand new NEO listing here in Toronto. I think it was yesterday was their first day of trading. We'll ask him about that coming up at 11:15, guys.
Finally, we talked about that oil trade and we took it. So there it is, man. 85 in, out, some 73s. Now we went down to 60. Where do we go down? So 68, 69 there. We continue to make moves downside here on oil. So a good trade there for me. Finally, a nice little win, 15, 16 cents now on this name. We'll see if we can hold it. Dolphin moving for us now, and then QS right back to a La La Land again. So let's wait to see what that does. But now oil making the move down for us as it's still going. A nice little build there, and obviously if stockpiles start building, that should send the price for all you guys out there as well of that gas at the pump should be heading southbound right now, but we'll wait to see. You know, that's a big a racket there, the oil business. So we don't know what it's going to do. But here we go, guys. 71, 72. Watch out. I'm going to take a little bit off here as the market going to lead me towards that decision right here.
Yeah, it's a nice way of putting it, calling it a racket there. Look, it is what it is, cartel action going on. Look, I talked about BNGO, and it did finally, like it cracked $8, but it barely got there. So, I mean, it did get down to like a 796, and I gave you like 777 as a bottom for a bottom pick, and I'd wait till it actually tested the low end of the range. On the way back up, I'm going to start it at 805. And this is just, look, it's a preferred way to enter trades for me when you're bottom picking. You'll probably hear me say it ad nauseum. Let it break the level. I'd rather catch some shares that are enter on the way back up when it shows some signs that we want to hold. So it does break into that target 25-cent range. I have started the position in front so I can build it to about 775, but I don't want it breaking down through at that level. I'm not going to be a huge fan of that happening. And I'm not going to hold to nauseum on any of these long trades when it has been tricky to take longs. The shorts have been working out pretty well for me, so I got out of that HOFV, but still hanging on to Dolphin. So I want to make sure I'm exposed to that to the downside, but I'm not going to double dip and then get too stubborn in both of them at the same time. On the flip side, here's CSCW, right back to the top end of the range. It doesn't quite get to 185 where I got my entry point the first time, so I actually don't get more shares in. It's a 190 top. I almost wanted to test higher than it did the first time before I get into more shares on the way up. So actually test that 190, it got to 88 the second time. Or if it just rolls over from here, maybe I would take some shares at the 175. So I don't like it at the same price. I want to test higher, then come in off of a failure, or sort of allow it to sort of fail shy and then get in at 175. That's going to be the game plan for me there. And of course, DLPN, we'll go to something which is actually looking pretty good. Anytime I see this, I was bidding off of this level here in front of 27, and now it has a double bottom at 27.50 that it's putting in. If that breaks, You see me canceling my order there? Yeah, if it breaks this double bottom, I mean, this thing could absolutely crater to the low of the day. So again, I find myself canceling a bit in DLPN and saying if it actually goes, I can get $1 better than that. At some point, that can get out of hand. But if it's going to hold VWAP, I'll just keep doing it. It's working so far. We took some profit in front of VWAP. I think we can extend it to low of the day. It's having some trouble bouncing to this little upside here, and the volume is starting to taper off as well, which can be another sign. If it never breaks 25.50, you do watch out for that like power hour, lunchtime, whatever, afternoon breakout, whatever you want to call it. That could be above VWAP at 30. It could also be at that 32.50, but you do have to watch out for it. That's an afternoon play, and only if 25.50 has not broken downside.
Yeah, we're waiting for those 25.50s. Yeah, that'll be great. If I can hit that bid, that's great. That low 26 there, the low of the day. Okay, that's Microsoft. Sorry, we're watching that as well. But we just took out some XOM on that flush down, man. It just flushed. We took out a double. There's two outs there in the 64, 166, 165 out right there, guys. So we will wait on that to see if it can come back to the downside. We take another average into the short. It looks like XOM may be reversing, so we just took that short right there. We may want to get out of this one as we don't want to let our winning trades turn into losers here. But XOM, another short just put on by me. Let's see if this one can work this time, guys. Well, it's been working both times. A nice trade to VWAP, but if we can get back to VWAP, we'll take some out in the 70s. Brendo?
MoneyGram, guys, just popped up on a volume scanner here. They launched something that is called MoneyGram as a service. And that is now available on their platform. So MGI just popping up on volume. Not terribly exciting, but a little bit of a move. You can see the volume coming in for MoneyGram, guys.
There you go. Francis G, Niagara Charlie. First of all, if you're talking about Niagara here on the Canadian side, I love there. I got married Niagara on the lake, so a great name. If you're from there, let us know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. I'm kind of curious myself. You're talking about Genius Brands. Yeah, you're seeing a big push. Yes, it's pulling back in. Look, it's an interesting setup here because it does give you, and I don't know if we covered this because I feel like I looked at this chart before, but I could be absolutely wrong about that. You get into this like high from yesterday at like 295, and you start thinking to yourself, if the earnings back up the positive news today, usually you get a bit of a dump when you have that news and people are selling off when it's already had a bit of a run. It's holding up nicely. Here's the flip side of that. This market is still teetering and looking a little bit weak. So the fact that it's testing back to this 295 would tell me, okay, if you're looking to get into it, maybe be a little bit patient because it could give you a look at this 275, 265, 270, maybe even like a 250 range, guys. If you are dipping into a long right here, maybe like a long in the 95 to 3 with a tighter stop would make a little bit of sense to me. Does it have room to run? Yeah, it's got a little bit of room to get to that resistance up at like a 375, but when it's already overextending itself, this is why I would play the cautionary tale here that it might not have gotten a chance to sell into this news just yet, especially with the way the market is going. So I would hold off and wait till it actually tests down a little bit lower, closer to this resistance from before to dig into any kind of a long position. If you're holding, you have the ability to like nibble out of some in and around $3. There's nothing wrong with that because there could be some trouble in that 350 range. And then of course, if it gets to 375, where I would probably be looking to short it myself if it ever got that high today. So that's my take on Genius Brands.
Apple right here. Good take there. And thank you for the super chats, guys. Apple to take this out 121.60. We'll try along here as the NASDAQ trying to rally a little bit here. Apple, a good price down that 1%. We'll see if it can rally from these bottoms. If I do get in and I get out real quick on this one, if it goes back below, I mean, not real quick, 30 cents is pretty quick for me. But again, trade your own book. 121.30 will be my out because again, not going to let this one turn against me that bad. It's Apple, guys. If I'm long everything else, I already have some exposure. Here's QS off that 53.50 bottom. Let's see if this one can go finally back into the money on QS, guys. May take some out here as we've made some money back on this rally here. So yeah, QS. Let's take a piece off now as it's just rallied up. Give it to him, Bren.
Hey guys, yeah, sector watch time. Let's have a look at the S&P 500. We are, nicely positive right across the board. overall, the market 0.4% right now to the upside. Got to be very specific, though, where you're looking. Obvious group right now, the energy sector, the entire thing here in positive territory significantly. Right below that, material stocks also having a nice day. The entire group there all in positive territory. Far corner over there, communication stocks. There's Viacom. We talked about the offering. Discovery right beside it. Fox being dragged down with that as well, 2.6%. TTWO, EA, and Netflix down 2% so far today. Here's Etsy as well. I wanted to highlight that one. 4.6%. It's been very strong over the past couple of days. Gap below it. L Brands as well. All positive, though, kind of offsetting that decline from Etsy. But retail stocks about flat on the day. Consumer discretionary names overall positive because of the travel group. So CCL, NCLH, RCL, some of the hotels here as well. There's Penn. I just saw Penn National, 2.25% to the downside. But MGM, LVS, and Wynn, along with the cruise lines, all very positive, offsetting those declines. So consumer discretionary stocks, very positive. Same story over here in the industrial group. All of the airlines, very, very positive. 2.5 to 3.5 percent, that is, for the airlines, having quite the day. RTX, TXT, Caterpillars here, URI, WAB, take your pick, that entire group leading the way. Only one in the banking sector to the downside, 3.5% for MKTX. Everything else in positive territory. So a lot of the strength coming from the banks so far. 0.44% now for the S&P. Let's go back to Sean.
Yo, thank you, Brendan. Yeah, look, looking through the S&P, that's positive now, 0.5, like Brendan just said, and I think the NASDAQ can try to get there. I don't know. Oh, it looks like they're speaking now. Yeah, I see Jenny Yellen taking some questions about job relief right now. Okay, 50s, 50, 420. We just took some off there at 54 when it broke back downside just to capture some small profit on QS. Not out of anything. That was 10%. We still think that this can go to the high side there. And then here goes Dolphin finally cracking. So back down to 26.50 right now on that name. It goes right to that level that it stopped at before. So we'll see if it can go lower. But this is where I need to get out, man. 26 even, or even better than that, man. 26.50 right there was a pretty good out if you could get that. But here it comes crashing back down. Is that's where yours is, 26.50, Neil, or what were you?
I was in front of 26.50. I made this mistake before where I'll throw a bid down there, and it was essentially sitting in front of 26.50, and it's like it comes down, tests it. If it's a good area to pick out, other people might be looking at it and some buyers as well. So I just aggressively took it out. It paid up about 30 cents or 40 cents or so to 26.92. And essentially on a stock where it's moving this much, I can't care about 20 or 30 pennies on an execution if it means it's going to hold a higher low. And I'm looking at that 25 bottom anyways for a new trade, or maybe even a bounce back up to retest VWAP or 32 even that I might want to reload. So I'll be happy with this, and we'll definitely do the pound, guys, because this is one that's been a little bit tricky to track in terms of my initial short here. Didn't work out. Waited patiently, almost got suckered into adding too aggressively and not being able to hold through that sort of failed breakout at 32. But I've been involved in too many of those to get psyched out 100% of the time. Every now and then you can sort of slap that one in the face like we did there, Brendo.
Okay, this Allied Esports continuing its run, guys. This stock has these weird moves where you can see, I'll show you yesterday, about this time yesterday, you can see big spike in volume, big spike in price, and then it just does nothing for the rest of the day. So here we go again, about this time, big spike up here for Allied Esports, guys.
Okay, QS, like, give me a break, man. Like, this name, QuantumScape, can't get going, guys. If this 53.50 breaks, like, I can't believe I'm wasting my time on this name. I just want to give that to you guys. It's not moving. Look, it could pay off eventually, but right now, not doing anything whatsoever. Facebook has that opportunity as well. I want to go back over to Apple. Okay, so I'm 65 cents now in the money on these Microsoft trades. Doesn't matter. We're negative on Microsoft. We'll be negative today on it. But we are at that VWAP. So I just want to tell you guys, even though it's been a rough ride, man, we're going to take out the profit that we have there, because every day is a new day, right? You don't build up your account on one day. You got to keep on going with what's happening. So we take it out there. Now we're holding very, very small as it's coming back down to the downside right now. So I just want to give you guys an update. We did take some out there as we out, and then out again at all the same levels, man, right here at VWAP. It wasn't VWAP then, it was this top that we were worried about, and it worked. So we'll take it out again. And then if Microsoft gives us back, I mean, that was small, but if Microsoft gives us this back here, the 235.60, then we'll take it and we'll wait for that. I'm still in Olive Dolphin. For me, man, no. You're breaking this 25.50, so let's just wait to see if that does come through. If it happens, great. We can make back everything, believe it or not, that we had initially, if that can happen. So let's just wait. I'm not holding it just because. I'm holding it because I do think there is a chance. All right, new siren alert. Let's wait to see if Apple gives us that dance that we're waiting for as well, breaking through that 160. Again, I'm not going to hold this because of the way the market's been today. I don't want to hold this too far down, but I already gave you that target downside right about here, 121.30 or so on a downside. So we'll hold this for about 30, 40 pennies against us on Apple in hopes that we do retrace back up just a little bit here.
Oh, Sean, that good hold on that Dolphin, guys. Look, I took it out in front of that low, so it's going to be pie in my face in the last that trade because it just broke that 25.50. No breakdown for me. I did miss out on that little break trade. That's the risk. Guys, if you're going to take it out and think you can get back in on a breakdown, you might miss the execution. So you always have to make sure it's what you want to do. If you're trying to hold on to that last little bit, don't assume you can always get back into every single stock. If you're talking your NEOs and your CCLs, of course you can, because liquidity is just, like whatever. It's a penny spread. You're always going to get a fill on your Dolphins, on your GameStops, and your stocks like that. It's not always a guarantee that you're going to get in. So sometimes you have to hold it and be a little bit of these guys, the diamond hands, which I think Sean has. So winning trade, but I didn't have the diamond hands on this one. I did hold on to it, not through the low of the day. Fantastic one there, Sean. I mean, I don't know where the bottom is going to be, but
$4.
That's the daily chart, right? So, I mean, it kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it?
$4. Okay, yeah, look, it's not even diamond hands. I don't even think that's, I mean, this is just looking at this. And look, I mean, that's the thing. If you're going to make money trading, you got to take some kind of risk. And I mean, honestly, it's like today hasn't been a good day, but these outs, like this is a short at 28, and then that first out there, 30.75. So that's 250. Like, is that diamond hands on the wrong way? No, I mean, and then again, so like if I'm going to go short at $28 and I'm going to take a 250 hit, I mean, yeah, there's a $3 winner. So for me, it just made sense. Now we're in the money $7 off this short. So now we're starting to get a little bit greedy on a $7 winner. We'll take it, guys. We'll take it today. So there it is. And it's still going down, man. I shouldn't have even taken any out there at 25, but I did. So whatever. Let's see if it continues to the downside. Nice little win there for that, for DLPN. So whatever. It's just funny that I lose everything on the long, and the only thing that seems to work for me is this short. Okay, Apple goes upside there. We did take some out at 75. That was the high there. We still have that VWAP of 21.85. We'll see if that can come through. I don't want to give back what we just made on Dolphin here on Apple. So I'm sick and tired of chasing these longs. So let's just hope this works out for us in the next 5 or so minutes, and then we'll be able to get out. We do have an interview coming up later on today with Brendan. Big one coming. Josh Barch, CEO and co-founder, coming up of Medicine Evolved. Kind of cool logo there. He's going to be talking everything with Brendan. We'll find out more about that very, very soon. That's coming up at 11:15 or so. It should be a good interview. I saw the pre-interview. Interesting stuff there with Brendan coming up. And there's no better interviewer than Brendan. So get ready for that one. We're going to put another order upside, 70 again, and then 75. Let's just take some. Okay, Apple, I see you. I see the market now trying to go. Making back a little bit of money, man. What was disastrous, getting cleaned up a little bit here today. But I still would like some of these stocks to go, including QS, Microsoft, and Apple here, guys.
Yeah, you better believe it. Let's get some of these to the upsides. We're bouncing off some levels. We talked about BNGO. Look, dark pool wick down to 760 is going to skew the chart, but believe me, it held the line at 795. Didn't even test that 775 yet. I got some at 4s. I added some at 8s. I just added again at like 815. Looks like I can only get in at the way up. My average price is 809. At this point, I can't really chase it any further. If I'm going to get more shares, it's going to have to come down and sort of hold this bottom to work back into it. But this was sort of the level I was waiting for on BNGO. It got down here, so we put it back on. And speaking of the longs, I now have no shorts. As CSCW, the last 10%, it broke the top. I tried to get back in. I actually got back in at 87 and took it out when 90 broke, so I take a 3-cent hit there. But CCL is right back at the high of the day. I'm going to show you what's going to happen here. That is me. If it wants to make another run at the top, come back, and NASDAQ's trying to get to 13,000, ES is trying to break those highs, I can make a breakout trade on a double top at 2680 if I like this one anyways. I can buy back in on VWAP. I can buy back in at 2620. But basically every single entry has been 2620. Every out has been first in front of 50 and then in front of the high of the day, 2675. Stick to the plan. Stick to what works. I can always enter it again if I still like it. Brendan is at the big screen with Money Talks.
Hey guys, yeah, currency time. Let's have a look at what is happening so far in the world of money. Not a heck of a lot overall. The US dollar is pretty flat once again today as Jerome Powell and Yellen still testifying in front of the House Committee. So all of these really not doing a heck of a lot. With Canadian dollar is a little bit stronger again, 0.25%. Back to 79.5, about the same to the downside for the euro, 118.25. You can see the British pound in negative territory as well. We'll go down here, focus on some of the cryptos for a second. Yeah, Bitcoin having a bit of a bounce. I went out to an hourly chart on Bitcoin. So we came down to this 53.5 that we were talking about, 53,500 that we were talking about in the pre-market. Tested it twice here on an hourly chart and got a nice bounce right back to 57,000. So leading the way, or 56,600 at the moment. Ethereum also having a nice day, 3.25%, 1,725. Even Ripple, the little one, following along, about 1.5% for Ripple today. Guys, back over to you.
So, I can actually answer this one, David Eyes. When you're looking at the chart and you get some of those like dark pool wicks, they do fall into multiple categories. If I can show you at 8 o'clock, there are some dark pools that are overnight, and then consolidated prints that come from a pool of prints of trading that happens overnight. And you'll see them all start to hit the tape at 8 a.m. That's why you see a lot of that flush. And then at other times you have block prints, which are organized trades between large counterparties that happen off book, right? So they can happen at any time, but the reporting can be a little bit late. So if you get a wick down here at 26.23, it's not hard to imagine that a big off-market block print or big block print did take place, gets reported a little bit later here, about 10 minutes down the line. So you will see that on our charts. We chart absolutely everything here at Day Trade the World. There are ways to get rid of them. Sometimes I think it can be an advantage to. Other times I want to see some of those prints as they're coming through, even if they're a little bit late, because sometimes they can tell you something, especially if they aren't late reports there. So, when I talk about dark pools and block prints, usually that's what we're getting at. They can make the chart a little bit skewed when it comes to the formatting, but for us, I believe more information is good information, especially if you understand what it's telling you and what it's not telling you. Like, it didn't actually print down to these prices, so I would never use that for any support on CCL.
Okay, dark prints. We talked about those. So there's an out at 54, and then there's an out again as it breaks through that 50 on QS. I actually didn't even realize that I didn't have an order until 20. So we got out there on QS. Not a big hit on the last part, but we knew that we were going to have to test that 53.50 there, and when it did, it just smoked it and went right down. Now you're into that 53. Could be a trade there, but I'm going to leave it for now as it hasn't been a great trade for me today, obviously. It's been actually, you know what? I think I'm like sending my Intel frustration and things like that at QS because it actually hasn't been that bad. It just sucks that it broke that 50 because I thought that with the NASDAQ running up here, we would have a chance to retest VWAP. And now that we didn't, this is a pretty weak name, man. Watch out for it to break 53. There is some size here. It's not crazy, but there is some size. We saw it just crush through 53.50, so I'm not going to play off that size. I don't think it's anything major. I think it just crushes that, and then we'll get out of our last little bit. But you know what? Actually, I won't. I'm going to hold. I still like that 51.50, so let's hold a little bit just to see what it does. Apple trying to go now as the NASDAQ's trying to make some moves. We have 71 cents now in the money on Microsoft as that's trying to break through the high side as well. And then that Dolphin, is that halted yet? No, it's not. Still right here where we got out of some, half of our trade, not some, we got out of half. So now we're holding the last half to the bottom. Wow, 24.18 just filled, just hit to the downside there. So this thing could crack even more now. Let's wait to see if Dolphin does have that magic crack in it to the downside, and we'll see if it can go. But for right now, that's about it. I wish I would have hit that CCL trade, missed it. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with everything. The GameStop through 156 should have been had as well.
And speaking of things I hope that we didn't miss, and I can't say this enough, guys, is the reason why when we say like, hit the like because we're having a lot of fun and we're giving you guys all the knowledge that we can. I'll talk about we can talk about dark pools if you want. Some people find it boring. If you guys are trying to learn about it, we'll try to give you our experience there. But SOS. Like I said before, shout out and thank you guys so much. That's why it's the best community, because I almost missed this one off the bottom. It still needs to break the 680. I did get hit once for the initial scalp trade out, and then I have shares out in this little range here, this little chop zone, and I want to hold some into VWAP, but it's bounced a couple of times. I still have my stop at the bottom end of the range. I love the risk to reward there. We knew it was the stock that was going to move. It's what we talked about. And this is what it's all about. That's why thank you guys so much for giving us the likes, getting us to that 2K. Should be 4,000, right? Let's get that. I almost said Pete Rose, but that Ichiro and and Ty Cobb action. I'm a baseball fan. That's what 4,000 means to me when I talk about that number. But it is all about learning from each other. And you can't cover everything. Like I've traded over half a dozen names today. I know Sean is look at all the positions he's in. So we're not going to catch everything. Nobody is a robot. Last I checked, maybe Arun is. I mean, that's at least a distinct possibility. But certainly, we do have to make sure that as traders, we are seeing all the opportunities out there that we can possibly do. And to the extent that you guys help us with that, that's what it means to share it. If you know somebody that's struggling in their trading, they're sitting at home by themselves, maybe they're talking to you on a forum, help them to join a community like this. Because I know for myself, as Dolphin goes through 24 as I speak, I was short there at 32. I tried to tell you guys what I was looking at, and I still didn't hold on to it. It's another $5 in the money from that top, guys. So we can all learn. This is what it's all about here. I don't know if it's going to $4, Sean, but I also know that the bottom could be really, really far from here.
Yeah, it's only an $8 winner right now, so that was a good one. Yeah, we'll just wait to see how far this goes down. I have no intentions on picking a bottom, but we'll wait to see. It's just off this short here. That's the initial short, and then now we have this on board. So we've cleaned this up, and now we're watching an $8 winner. So good. We like that trade. That's moving well for us. I had to get some off because of the way that it moved early on. I mean, I didn't want this thing to go, like we say, parabolic again to the upside, so we don't do that. Okay, QS. I did do what I said I wouldn't do. I did get some more. Let's see if it holds 53. One last chance. Screw you, QS. Let's see if we can't make that dream happen eventually. And then right now, oh man, Apple's still not doing anything. I just thought on that NASDAQ break, look at the NASDAQ ripping to the high side right now. Let's take off another piece there for a dime. Get some, 8 cents, which is silly. But 127.68, we just took some off. I mean, look at this NASDAQ recovery. I said if we broke through 13,000, maybe we would get to something. But it's just surprising right now that that's not moving as much as I thought it would, Apple. So, okay. And then our favorite stock, which is not a cash cow today, but moving fine for us now. $1.10 in the money goes Microsoft, upside breaking through. A good spot to get out of Microsoft right now as well. 236.80, like right here, right where we got out last time. This is a bunch of tops here, making a top again. Let's put an order to get out of Microsoft for $1 winner. So, yeah, some money bags today, but not as much as usual for me. You guys are used to me just crushing this today. And today, obviously, with the market falling down, I only had a couple shorts, and one is $8 in the money, but the other ones were long, so we failed on that one. Microsoft to the 80s again. Let's take a little piece out. $1 win is $1 win.
Exactly. You got to take look. No one ever went broke taking profits. We say it, and we probably don't say it enough. So it's the same thing in BNGO. It never really gave that real flush down for me to be able to get some more shares there. So every single buy is at a higher price. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I mean, averaging up is not a bad thing as well. As it gets towards VWAP, I'll take another leg off. For like a 20-cent-ish win, and then some more another 10 cents up. I do look at this range here off the open, initial flush down to 850, and then a real breakdown and resistance at 850. So I'll probably have like 20% of the position left if it gets to that 850, or 10 to 20% of the position left. We'll see how it goes. Whether it gives me a chance to reload is going to be a big key. Whether it goes to that 80-50 or not, or breaks through, I don't want to hold everything for that. It is still down on the session. It is pulling back in after those earnings, being a slight disappointment there for Bingo. And we wanted it to break out of the range before we actionably traded it. And that's what I said going into it yesterday. I think near the end of the show, that's what we said at the beginning when we went through our levels and the stocks that we're going to be watching here today. So always try to stick to that plan. And speaking of which, I've ignored it. Well, I mean, I haven't ignored it. I haven't traded it yet. But GameStop is actually trying to hold the bottom here, guys. So 145, it did break. I mean, and snapped right back. And it's now trying to put in a higher low here. And if it can hold that, after all of that sell-off, have you seen this story before? where it just waits and waits, and it's just basically like a snake in the grass. I don't know, where's my snake in the grass? I know I have one. Of course, I can't find it when I need it. We'll get to that in a second. If it does break 150s back to the upside and breaks 155 for some of these breakout style trades, maybe I'll use it then before the end of the show. But either way, if it holds this low another time, I think there's going to be a long trade for me in here off that low of the day on GameStop. It's testing it now. The first of those lows at 145 even. It did break it briefly, got down to like a 143.85. So if it can hold those levels now, I'd look for a long trade in GameStop. But I wanted to test the bottom. The same way I'm looking for those shorts, I wanted to test that upside before I take it. That's doubly true for something like a GameStop long, which is down 20% on the session.
Okay, we got a new trade alert here, and it's NEO, the one that we've traded earlier and missed the long on the long, and now we go long again. So breaking through 39.50 here. Let's just see, man. Apple's finally going. We got 12 cents finally on Apple. Oh, we just took it out there, 79 on Apple. Looks like it wanted to go. So we're gonna retest on NEO here again and just see if, oops, sorry, wrong stock, and see if it wants to go get pieces out and then just cash in, guys, on NEO if we can on that name, as it looks like it wants to try to go now. I don't have, I mean, if we can get up to this 80 level, I'll take that as well. So hopefully NEO just continues to make its move upside. I'm going to take some more pieces out here as it's going. Shoot, there's a big size there at 55, slowing that move down. It needs to get through there, and if it does, man, 60, 70, 80 top. We'll see if we get. Actually, that's 90s. Yeah, 80s is fine. 80s or 90s. We can take 30 cents on this move. There it is, just crushed through that level. So here we go. NEO on the top side here, 39.50. Let's see if it can go. That's where we're long, guys.
Brendo?
All right, big one, or big level, I should say, for General Mills, another one that had earnings, guys. We mentioned at the end of the show yesterday. Hasn't really done much all session, but we're down here at 58. Again, if you go to the daily chart, bit of a level here for GIS. Earnings were not good, but it's trying to hold 58, guys.
You know, you start to think about some of a name like that on a day like today. It piques your interest in terms of like where you might actually pick this one up, because on the daily chart it is getting at least a little bit close into the range where you might like it. I mean, I would probably wait until we talk about those clusters. I'd probably wait until it actually tested 57. I'd get down to 55 as an entry point there. But it is going to be an interesting name for me if it does make that level. And again, it's not always the most volatile name, but sometimes you have to have things that aren't sexy in your portfolio. SOS, so I want to come back to this name. You know, waited for it to get to the bottom end of the range. Thank you guys. I shouted you guys out for pointing this one out to me. But this is a slow grind to the upside. So, you know, as we get up here, all I can say is if it does finally break that 7 even, you'll see me put a chair in. This is one of those trades that it's entirely possible. The market's starting to rebound here. It's not as if we're getting any kind of crazy moves over in crypto land, so holding those tops. I might have to hold on to this into the afternoon. Like, it's just the reality. Some trades we're scalping in and out. We're in and out in like a matter of seconds. Others we're building in a position, you know, all morning long. This one I've been sitting in for like 40 minutes here, guys. So we're giving you a little bit of everything. That's one of the whole points of the show is, and one of the reasons why I think it makes sense to become a subscriber, guys. It takes 2 seconds to do. You should get an opportunity to learn all different styles of trade. Scalping, holding, long-term action, futures with a rune, the stock fathers coming through. So trying to give you as many reasons as possible to get into these trades, hang on to them if you like them, learn a little something from the mistakes, from what we actually will avoid. I want to show you, if I can, CSCW here, because sometimes it's not only about the winning trades. It can be about, and of course it's not a New York stock, it's NASDAQ. That's why I'm taking a second to get here. Sometimes your best trade is getting out for a loss. Like, I had some good shorts on CSCW, shorting in the pre-market, had that big flush going into the open. I then reshorted it, saved myself some money by taking a 3-cent loss, then got the top here. Nice, another fantastic short. I get back in at 87. Where's my out? Breaks 90? Okay. Not averaging into it, not holding through the high of the day. Just walk away, allow it to test $2. And now I can sort of like patiently wait to see if this thing wants to make it continuously. There's no levels on the daily chart, guys. That's one of the reasons why I'm going to get out in that top break, right? If it had some previous selling it to even, yeah, maybe I would have dug into it. I don't see anything like that, so I'll put it on the higher time frame. Just see how far it extends on my 15-minute chart. If it ever gives me one of those like multi-parabolic, you know, candle moves here over the longer time frame, then I'll start thinking about the short, or maybe if it accidentally halts to the upside. I don't think it's going to happen. Hasn't put those moves in yet. Halts are another reason why I would get into this one to the short side again. Otherwise, got to be back below that 190. So show me the weakness, show me the parabolic move. Otherwise, I'll be like a snake in the grass, patiently waiting for you, CSCW. But avoid that big hit by having a stop.
You got to have the stops or you're going to be in big time trouble, especially in today's market. Come on, Apple. Like, we're still long this name. 121.60 here, bouncing off VWAP. Probably worth taking a piece out for me now on Apple. Well, I mean, we're out of half already, which is ridiculous. I really thought, I mean, like, come on. We talked about the NASDAQ rebounding. The NASDAQ just turned positive, and some of these names still can't go, guys. So I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on anymore. All right, and welcome to the club on that one. NEO right here, we did get in, and then we got out, and we got right back in. That was a mistake getting out there. I don't know. I was giving this back down. So if you did see me just reverse out and you see a different price now, it's still the same trade. We were getting out here on VWAP at 60 off the 50 break, but then we got snapped out there, and I just bought right back in. So I'm not sure what got triggered there. I put the wrong price. My out, and I put it in, so you can see it is 39.05. So if we break back down here in this range is when I want to get out. But look at this move upside now in the market. It's like if some of these names aren't going yet, then they're probably not going to go. So FYI on that one. We may want to get out of some NEO right now as the market having a problem on the high side now. And if your stock isn't running during this move, I'm talking to you, QuantumScape, then yeah, you probably just got. I'm just hoping that a buyer comes in here and rifles this thing to the north side. Other than that, man, I know this is a dead dog. So I'm just waiting to see, taking minimal risk now, trying to see if we can get back to VWAP and make back what we lost on this move here in the NASDAQ. So it just doesn't look like anybody wants to trade QuantumScape for the long today. And that happens sometimes, guys. But at least we've acknowledged that. We know what's happening with it. And we are going to use this 53 as an out. And also Apple still, guys. NASDAQ still pushing, man. The NASDAQ is all the way back to open where we were, guys. All the way back down and all the way back up. So, yeah, just frustrating that Apple's not even going more than this. Here we go, breakthrough view up. Let's take a piece out now that it finally broke.
I know we're going to be coming to what is always a fantastic interview, but there's still some names out here that I believe, like, I mean, it's on our, it's actually, this is on our watch list today. I have no executions on APTO, but it's near the bottom, Aptos Biosciences. You can read up about it, and you should always try not to trade blind. I know technical levels can matter more for some of these small caps, and we'll try to get into this now. Look, this top here in the pre-market right after the 8 o'clock bounce is at 585. It then pulled back after a move at the open right into this 580. It's now flushed after pushing highs and holding a 580, 585 area. I'm going short through this bottom here. Anytime I see that weakness, I don't mind joining weakness. Of course, if maybe I don't know, I'm kind of, someone mentioned this around $6. I'm kind of asking myself why I didn't take this consolidation. I don't necessarily have a hard reason other than maybe I was distracted, but whoever it was, shout out to you in the chat because it clearly was a good look in that consolidation. And if you're already short in the range of like 6 and 610, suddenly if it breaks this level, you could add a small portion to it. You could take some off in front and scalp it. There's so much flexibility when you've already played this to the south side and you're in the money. For me, it's a breakdown trade. Take it back down into 525, 550 and 525. Hit or miss. If it breaks like 615 to the upside, you got to run away from this one as quickly as you can. So APTO, I will take that breakdown trade here at 580. Will be my first execution. This is why you want to have a watch list. I have a couple of longs that are working out for me here, but try not to overtrade. Stick to what is moving. Stick to what is actually working for me here, and then these setups will be golden for you. Overtrading is the bane of everyone's existence when the market is giving you so many opportunities. And this NASDAQ, it really is climbing back up to that, back through that 13,000 level. There is a bit of a rebound happening, not in GameStop. So GameStop did break that low. I can forget about buying off that bottom. Still showing all kinds of weakness, unfortunately. And just got into APTO, 580 on a 580 break. Thank you, Day Trade the World, for that excellent fill.
Right now, guys, 50 cents in the money on Apple. So that one finally Supermaning people right now. What's up, Bren?
Not sure how we missed this one, but just double checking on 10-cent music. Wow, what a move. Straight southbound here. We had earnings 2 days ago, I believe it was, on TME, but yeah, not good so far today for TME. Straight southbound, guys. 32 in the pre-market here. Down to 26.5 for 10 cent. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a nasty move there. Okay, 122. We're gonna take. I just said we're take a piece off Apple. Hopefully we can do that a little bit higher than. There it is. Are we out? My offer was 03. No. of course. It goes, there we go. Now are we out? Nope. We still didn't get the fill. Okay, there it is. Okay, there we go. Now we're out. 03, it takes the whole level out. There it is. So nice little out there on Apple to celebrate 40 cents. Good trade there. Just checking back in on this Dolphin. Yeah, like I'm just debating now taking this out, right around here, 28, something like that. Obviously won't make as much money as if we did take it out at this 23 level off this. That's $9 there. I should have took it out. But again, it just flashed down there off the 24 break. So it's not like that's a real print, but if you're sitting in here, you get picked up, right? So that's the key. But anyways, to the downside comes Dolphin, and I'm just probably going to use maybe this 27.50 as an out here. Let's wait to see, but it is getting some steam to the north side now, so this could turn out to go against us. So 27.50 out on Dolphin. Worth the hold. I think we did a good job holding that, man. So let's just wait to see on that one. And then Neo, we did get back in, but we've just been fighting it. We took a little bit of profit there at 45 off of our in at 40, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to rip or not. The market's still doing the stance. And Apple, check back on that, not doing anything. And then QS, it's going to break 53 any minute now. So watch out for that one, as that's not been performing well. If we're going to go short anything tomorrow, QS is definitely going to be on my radar. I say tomorrow, only 20 minutes left with an interview coming up, guys, so stay tuned.
Oh, wow. And so it just got a few more shares. APTO just made a run at that $6. It looked like it was about to stall. I saw one tiny iceberg order there and got back in, got some more shares into it. As long as it holds that 6.15 area that I mentioned before, I'm going to like it. But CSCW, man, I actually keep saying it right, but I keep having trouble getting through that name. Continues to push through highs. Now, like I said, I don't really have any levels on this particular name, and it's actually I gotta do this so you guys can actually see the volume. There you go. It's actually doing good volume as it extends through now to past 11 o'clock into that lunchtime hour. So there is some volume behind this move. That's always a sign that it could actually sustain a little bit of this. And like I said, no levels on the daily chart. These are all-time highs now for CSCW. It could go, and if it does go parabolic, that's actually the indication I'm looking for that I would ever take any shot at it. Otherwise, it's got to trade back below that 190 range for sure. It's entirely too choppy and too much volume for me to short into this name here, and definitely missed a breakout opportunity. And again, could you take a breakout when I'm getting out? If you can learn something here, it's also that if you have a long bias where short sellers are running to the hills early, is probably, if I say a tight stop here because it's going to be a breakout, or I don't like holding through a level like that, maybe you think about a long. I mean, a lot of times for me, it's a bit of a stretch when I have a short bias, obviously on the stock, but not a horrible long entry when I look back at it in hindsight, and I do that a lot. But I have to stick to what works for me. If you're bullish on this, maybe you notice the upward trend. Maybe you notice that double bottom at 145. Maybe you actually get that pullback into VWAP or that breakout at 190. There's all kinds of ways to learn from these charts and these moves, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the exact trades that we're making, guys.
No. There's BFT. I just want a quick look. There is the merger or the vote tomorrow, the 25th, on BFT, and it does. I actually was looking at this 620 break. It did happen and only went to 645, 650. So in a day where the market's kind of flat, it's nice to see one of the SPACs that we own here going to the upside. So BFT happens tomorrow. I do like that one. I don't know. It doesn't look like, 3 million shares is decent. But for a trade, I just wanted to bring that back up. The other trade that I had on, but getting ready to go on, that's not on yet, was Ford. Ford came up to that 1250 level again, and it was there early, then crashed down, and it was there again, but it never came through, so we didn't get long, obviously, on Ford. I was thinking about that break spot there, but it never came through, so we didn't have to worry about it. But I do like that spot if the market can go there on Ford back up through 1250. So may take a small long now, but I don't know what this market wants to do, man. Very, very sketchy with Yellen and whatnot talking. It looks like they may be done. I don't know. We will find out more about that. Our QS, though, like we said, where's the gates of hell? It can go in there today because honestly, we tried so many longs and it just never worked. So we take a hit on that one and we take a hit on Intel today. Other than that, it's been pretty good, pretty smooth sailing with some other longs. Apple, my biggest one, we cashed out of that. Now we're holding that 10% left, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 out. Right now, VWAP. We'll hold a little bit more just in case it wants to run, but not a crazy day today. If you were long, it was paying off for if you're short. The moves short were way bigger than these moves back up. So congratulations to anybody that had that. And I just wait now patiently, I hope, for Dolphin to come back to the downside. I'm watching that 27.50. That's probably going to be a trigger for me to get out, guys.
So I'll answer this one for you, Sam Higgins. It is not a typo when you see that I am long BNAU. I said to you guys sometimes that I will do market making. I'll show you what it looks like. Just give you guys a bit of a look here. The stock doesn't move. There's a cash buy at $2.65. I literally am going to make spreads on this and then just collect money all day long. Trading is kind of a style I have to go to. Of course, it didn't flip for me, so I'll do this for you guys. It is literally set up on our system because it's not worth it to exclude stocks that we're going to be in. It's like, why do the effort? So it's just going to show up, even if it's not something it's worthwhile telling you guys about. But I essentially will make some levels on this stock and just collect spread all day long. Look, it's not going anywhere. It basically never does. And, sometimes I will get into bigger positions on it. If one of these ever moves, believe me, you'll probably hear it from me, or you'll see me like sweat off my brow, because 1 cent range on the day, and it's not going to move at all, guys. No typo whatsoever. We show you all the goods here, even positions that are boring for you guys. It is now time for our guest of the day. Let's go to Brendan for the introduction.
All right, thank you, guys. Yeah, we mentioned the psychedelic medicine space continues to be an ever-growing space and an exciting one to be involved with. The latest, or a new entrant, Mytson Innovations Group, is just listed yesterday, in fact, on the NEO exchange. The director, CEO, and co-founder, Josh Barch, joins us today on the show. Great to have you, Josh. Good to see you once again. Congratulations, first of all, on the listing on the NEO yesterday. How was the overall process to start things off as far as the NEO exchange goes?
Sure. So we actually migrated and graduated from the CSE. So we've been listed for some time now, and this was kind of a natural progression as the company grows to move from the CSE up to a tier 1 exchange in the NEO. So the overall process was incredibly seamless. The team at the NEO, made it a very, very painless process. So, very, very happy with that situation.
Great stuff. Yeah, MYCO on the NEO exchange as of yesterday, if you guys want to have a look at the symbol. Let's talk about the company. Tell us a little bit about the concept to start things off for Mytson. A little bit of a different approach when it comes to this space.
Sure, absolutely. So, the company was originally founded by myself and my two co-founders, Rob Roscoe and Damon Michaels. All three of us had come off a number of successful exits in the cannabis space. We're all coming out of Colorado originally, where I was a third legal medical cannabis license in 2009. They created a company by the name of Ebu, which was a cannabis IP startup. Anyways, collectively, we ended up taking exits of just under $500 million. So fairly successful in that. Kind of keeping on that same wavelength, we started analyzing, what is the new sector that we want to jump in, and just naturally we migrated over to the natural source medicine and psychedelic medicine industry and looked at kind of unique ways to approach that, and ultimately what we developed was Mytson Innovations Group.
And an interesting approach, taking 3 tiers or 3 different sections, I guess, of the company. The first being R&D, the second being focused on trials, which we'll get into here in a second, and also a telehealth approach as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, sure. So first is our drug development and R&D division. We have an exclusive partnership with Applied Pharmaceutical Innovations, which operates out of the University of Alberta. So Applied Pharmaceutical Innovations is a drug development nonprofit that operates with private sector companies like ourselves, which allows us to retain 100% of the IP that's derived from the partnership. University of Alberta is ranked 15 in the world for drug development, top 3 in the world for AI. So obviously, we're combining those 2 verticals to utilize AI in new age drug development. It's been incredibly advantageous. They have a world-class facility, a multi-$100 million facility that really allows us, under a Schedule 1 Health Canada dealer's license, to go from A to Z. So we can actually cultivate psychedelic mushrooms on site, take that through full R&D phase, and then we have a 40,000 square foot pharmaceutical manufacturing lab, CGMP lab, that we can take it all the way to fruition and feed it into our clinical trial infrastructure. So really unique kind of infrastructure and ability to be vertically integrated from our drug development side of things. The drug development division is really headed by, one, the Faculty of Pharmacology at the University of Alberta, but also with one of our internal members, Dr. Denton Hoyer, for previous to this, for the last 10 years, he was the head of small molecule design at Yale University. And prior to that, he was heading small molecule design at Pfizer and Novartis. He spent over 30 years designing unique, novel small molecules. And kind of the concept and the goal that we're looking at is psilocybin and MDMA derivatives, taking those as kind of a initial blueprint, a starting point, and then adding additional layers and additional safety rails, and also looking at how do we make it more compatible with therapy and scalable. So things like half-life controllability, uptake time, safety rails, protecting against some of the anxiety associated with these different substances is kind of our second generation, third generation drugs, which we have 4 really top candidates that we're bringing into preclinicals, and then also one that's actually in a phase 2. Our clinical trial branch was really headed by our chief medical officer, Dr. Rakesh Jetley, who came by way of our acquisition with Neuropharm. Rakesh Jetley just retired from 31 years in the Canadian Armed Forces. Upon retirement, he was the chief psychiatrist of the Canadian Armed Forces, and has been, the chair of a number of NATO mental health boards over the years. Obviously, through NATO, his fellow constituency are really the who's who of PTSD treatment, as well as other indications in the veterans population. And they have strong affiliations with the DoD, NATO, the VA, kind of globally. So through that, we've been able to develop and build a global clinical trial infrastructure with sites throughout Canada at University of Alberta, Royal Ottawa, Western Ontario, in Europe at Leiden University. And then right now we're about to announce 3 very, very significant US test sites, one in LA, one in Boston, and one in San Francisco, that are very veterans focused. So what that gives us the ability to do is, one, move our current phase 2 PTSD clinical trial through on a global standpoint, so you have reciprocal approvals once the time comes with the FDA, Health Canada, et cetera. But also 2 is now we have a global infrastructure that our second generation and our third generation improved drugs that are under development can then feed into for human clinical trials. So obviously very advantageous. And then lastly, something that helps and is really important to understand is our technology platform and telehealth platform, MindLeap. When you look at the protocols of successful psychedelic-assisted psychotherapy, it's really important to remember that 7/10 or 8/10 of the equation are one-on-one psychotherapy meetings between psychotherapist and patient with no substances taken, kind of building rapport preemptively, setting expectations, understanding what you're about to experience. And then they undergo, 1 to 3 macrodose treatments for it, which is this quote unquote psychedelic experience. And then you have several follow-up psychotherapy meetings. So from a scalability standpoint, geographically speaking, when these things commercialize and these various treatments commercialize, but also when they're in clinical stage, geographically, there's a limited number of locations that individuals can actually receive treatment. So to be able to handle the psychotherapy aspects and protocols remotely is obviously incredibly advantageous, not only for us as a company, but also for the patient. Additionally, it has a very advanced analytical data storage backend that allows us to really compile data in a really unique way that gives insight and intel into these various treatments that you traditionally wouldn't have. So something that we're incredibly excited about.
Josh Barch is Director, CEO, and co-founder of Mindsen Innovations Group. It's an interesting approach, multifaceted approach. Tell us about some of the benefits the company has already seen from taking such a wide approach, I guess, into this sector.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So right now we are the only company on the planet that has a fully established global supply chain of single molecule naturally derived psilocybin. So it's analogous to like a COMP360 synthetic product. It's a 99.9% pure single molecule psilocybin derived from a natural source. We've been able to develop a cultivation in Jamaica, which has a unique kind of legal landscape. And then we actually just completed the world's first global export and import into Health Canada, into our CGMP factory. That's now going through the process of obtaining an IND that can actually be used for human clinical trials. But what's unique about having all these different divisions is our cost to produce these different molecules, and then also our cost to actually administer these and conduct clinical trials, is significantly lower, and we're significantly more efficient than traditional companies would be that only operate in one of those verticals. So, the vertical integrated kind of structure is incredibly advantageous for a number of reasons, but that really highlights one that we're excited about.
Once the company achieves these positive trial outcomes as to be expected, where do we see the targeted market being for these drugs?
Yeah, sure. So really globally, you look at the veterans constituency. In the VA, for instance, the VA is the largest healthcare system in the world. You have millions of veterans that are suffering from PTSD, and currently there's not a single pharmaceutical drug that's manufactured for PTSD, right? You have everything that's borrowed off-label, things like SSRIs, Wellbutrin, Zoloft, Prozac, incredibly dangerous drugs, ineffective, old way of thinking that we're able to displace with an incredibly effective, safe treatment that's really offering a solution and potentially healing these individuals, as opposed to a redundant pill that you're taking every day. So, where can these be administered? Any country that has a veteran population that has experienced traumatic events, as well as reciprocal PTSD. We're really kind of running the gamut. We're also introducing an addiction clinical that's really, really interesting that we'll be talking about here in the near future, that also kind of, keeps that same wavelength on the veterans, because there's a lot of comorbidities between PTSD and the veteran population, as well as addiction. So anyways, needless to say, the global rollout is why we have a global infrastructure from a clinical standpoint. So we fully, anticipate and we're absolutely are going to be global administering these different treatments.
Brand new listing on the NEO exchange as of yesterday. NYCO, the ticker, guys. Go check it out. NYCOF as well on the OTC market down in the U.S. Josh Barch, co-founder, CEO of Meitzen Innovations Group. A pleasure. Best of luck going forward.
Thank you so much.
Another look, guys, at the ever-expanding psychedelic medicines group. Another entrant there, Meitzen Innovations Group. Check them out, guys.
Good one as always, Brendan. And thanks for the kind words. I see some people, in the chat active about these names. Always good to learn about these new sectors as they emerge. I see we only have a few minutes to go before the end of the show here. We're sort of round into that lunchtime hour where the market does slow down a little bit. I still have that SOS position, which is managing to hold the bottom, at least for now. It is what it is. If it breaks the low, I've had that stop in there. And I did say this could be one that I'm into a little bit longer before it either takes out the low. Can't seem to bounce with the NASDAQ here. It is what it is. Or we'll just hang on to it until it breaks the stop or it gets to VWAP. It's going to be binary for me. And the same thing with BNGO. Very, very similar entry points. I see that. Can we give a name for that just so I actually have something to say? But Sean, what's up, buddy?
I just say it's walking on water, but there's NEO. We defend that level right there, 39. That's very bottom. We did load up. So, I've had enough of this day. Let's see if we can't go to the long side. Our Apple also cashed in. Man, we've made back a decent amount of money here, as we go. But the market just breaking out new highs. I just want to bring that NEO trade up to you, that we were defending this level. I'll just get out another piece right there. 39. I mean, I liked it so much. We took it twice there. Bang, bang. And it didn't go down. We're giving it down here 20 cents. So here we go again. That was 20 cents now in the money. So we're taking it, and we're taking it upside now. So good trade there. And then just to check back right here. Lowest spot of the day right now for Dolphin. So we're still in that $8 winner right now out of the short side right here. This one we got chopped around, eventually took it out there. And then now we're holding half left of this trade, just half of the position that I had down to the low of the day on Dolphins. So that's going to be a good winner. Nice to end the day here with an $8 winner on one name, and then just cruising on a scalp here with NEO. And then just check back in. My Apple trade was one of my better longs, although we didn't hold it for the ultimate break. It breaks VWAP again, and we do get out, but that's like 70 cents there for Apple. So, okay, I'll make this all back, but it won't be in front of you guys because we are done in about 2 minutes. Valeria or Brendan, do we have any earnings to look at?
Hey guys, thank you very much for spending this trading day with us. Please make sure to like this video. Doesn't matter it was a good or bad day. It has no relation to the show or to guys in our production team, because we are here for you every day to support and spend time with you, discuss everything. So guys, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We will see you tomorrow, and happy National Cheese Steak Day, everyone.
Oh, hit the like for a good cheese. Man, I would. Every now and then we get one of these, and it's like an actual possibility for our lunch, and you never really know what you're gonna get. But I like a cheesesteak. When it comes to Philly, however, it is what it is. If we send one of the greatest Raptors of all time potentially there at the deadline, we'll see what happens with Kyle Lowry. To me, it's been a very fantastic, and it's been a fun show talking to you guys, showing you the market moves that are in. Post GameStop earnings, of course, that's a little bit sleepier than I anticipated. So somewhat of a shock when it comes to that. There were a couple of earnings there, Sean. KB Home, Darden Restaurants, Momo, nothing too gigantic. So we're going to stick to the reopen names that are moving. Any of these NFT names that are going crazy, stick to what works for you. That's what the name of the game is. I like a good cheesesteak. I have a strong suspicion, Sean, you're with me on that one, and I'd be shocked if Brendan wasn't too.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. It has to be, yeah. Was that a cheese steak sandwich or just a cheese? Like, because you could put chicken in there too. But yeah, no, that's a great one. We love Philly cheesesteak. I actually said to the wife the other day we should have had that. But I have some leftover pork from the ribs. So I'm actually going to be putting that into a nice little bun and having a nice little pork sandwich maybe later on. I should have brought it today in case. We had some pasta the other day, which was for me here. But Brendan, you're a fan of the cheesesteak.
I'm gonna maybe blow some minds here. I've never in my life had a Philly cheesesteak. I can't stop looking at 10-cent music.
Pretend this is Brendan.
No bad.
You ever been to Philly? You ever been to Philly?
I have not.
Okay, so whenever we can actually travel again, we have some friends out in Philadelphia. I'll tell you, it's a fantastic place to visit. Lots of history, lots of culture, and oh my goodness, have an authentic one, man. It's like whatever. And now I'm just hungry. This is gonna burn me here. But 10-cent music, you're absolutely right. Another reason why you guys should love this show. I mean, like we're sitting here, we're trading live, and Brennan is coming with stocks that we're missing that are actionable, so that you guys are trading what is moving, or at least learning from the stocks that are giving you the opportunities. And then 10-cent music was a big time mover to the downside today. So it's been a great show. I'm gonna sit and hope and pray that we're getting a cheesesteak for lunch. I know that we're not, very likely, for the entire team. For Miss V, for my man Sean Katina, again in the salmon shirt, which I still think is fantastic. One of these days I'll wear mine. Brennan Wickens, great interview as always. I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. We'll see you tomorrow, guys.